What's good, my peoples, man? We're gonna have some special guests on today, man. We're gonna talk about some special stuff today, you know, within the sport, man. So we getting ready to cook, man. Salute to each and every one of y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna send them the links right now, and I want them to cook. Yeah, we're gonna cook today. Salute to all my peoples, man. We're gonna have some special guests in here. Wow, man. All that time I was talking, man, I was on mute. Pardon me, my peoples. I saluted everybody, man. Ahmad is Ahmad, my brother in the super chat. He says, salute Blue and the real ones in the chat. Salute, King. Simon Carr, Bottom of Cali. Salute. Matt Wade. Salute. Yeah, smash that like button, man. Get the likes up, man. Let's get them likes up, man. And let's cook. We're gonna have some special guests in the building today, man. And you know, I don't know if y'all can see the thumbnail. Can y'all see the thumbnail for this video? I don't know. If y'all can hear me, let me know, man. You know, I saluted everybody, man. So y'all know me, man. I was saluting everybody in the building, man. And I apologize, but let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Can y'all hear me clearly, man? Salute to Blue Blood family. Salute Senzo, South Africa. Salute. I saluted everybody, man. I didn't even realize I was on mute. Pardon me. Love Janice Lavani. Peace and blessings to you, Queen. We're gonna have some special guests on today. I'm gonna have on 3 powerful women, man. Today, man. 2 in which are one is a promoter, one was a manager and a journalist, and the other is a nurse on the front line working in the operating room. And the thing about this all is, I'm gonna let them tell it. But the thing about all of this is that, you know, they all have a story to tell regarding today's time, and they are in tune with the sport of boxing like we are. So I wanted these 3 powerful women on here, man. Can y'all hear me? Okay, so I wanted these 3 powerful women on here, man, and they're gonna huh? Yeah, I'm not. Why? No slack 504. Salute. Salute, my brother in the super chat. Appreciate you. He said, salute, brother. Salute to you, King. So I wanted them, we gonna have them on, and y'all gonna get a great show today. So they're gonna they have knowledge of the sport of boxing that we love, but the key to it all is the thing about it all is that they all have children that they have growing up in today's time. And so not only are they in tune with the sport of boxing, D Bevel the champ, my brother, salute. Blue looking like an African emperor. Salute, King. Yeah, man, I had to bring it out for today. You understand? You understand? So salute to y'all, man. And like I said, man, you know, they have a story to tell. Smash the like button, get the likes up to 100. We should have 100 likes. I don't know how many likes we have on this version, but smash the like button. Ray Patterson said no sound. There's no sound. Y'all can't hear me? Y'all can't hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay, my brother Drew Titan in the building. So, hey, listen, man, they're gonna have a beautiful story to tell, because they all, so one is on the front line in the operating room, and she's and she has a son, right? The other and so they have a story to tell, right? They go, one of them, what's going on with you, Queen? How you doing?
Hey, how are you? Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great, man. Great. I was just you know, semi introducing y'all, you know. So you're the first one to come in. They other two
cool.
The link. But
oh yeah, they might be having a little problem.
Yeah, but you can introduce
Can
yourself.
you hear me good? Because I have my earbuds in. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you clear. I can hear you clear.
Okay, great.
Yeah, can y'all hear her? Y'all can hear her good? Let me know. Put a thumbs up. Y'all can hear her. Y'all can hear her nice and clear. Yeah, they telling you how beautiful you look. You can see the chat?
Nice. I can't see it. Thank you.
Yeah, so but you could just tell them a little bit about yourself while we wait for everybody else to come on in.
Okay, so my name is Danique. I have a small online company, and I also have a YouTube channel, Kitchen Conversations with my sister. And Hourly Shaper is my company. We sell shapewear for females, and we have a little bit for males too. I consider myself a boxing enthusiast. I love boxing, hence me and Cheyenne's relationship. And that's really it. I'm a mother of one, and I'm here talking to you guys.
Absolutely. So, today's time is crazy. It's a lot going on. I was telling
I
them
know.
you two are on the front line as well. So
Oh, with COVID.
yeah. So
Yeah, because I work in the operating room and it's a lot going on. It's a lot more than people actually, know is going on behind the scenes. So,
mm,
I encourage everyone to wear your mask. Please make sure you wear your mask. Wear your face covering. Even if you're going to protest or whatever, just please make sure you have a mask on because that's going to be your first defense against catching this horrible, horrible virus. I've seen horrible things happen to people and, just devastating. It really is. Like people think it's a joke or it's some kind of like I don't know how it actually came over here or whatever, but what I can say is that it's real and people definitely really dying, especially people of color. So, and this is something that I've seen in the hospital. It's not statistics that I'm reading.
and also too, I was you have a son that you're raising.
Right.
Today's time is also on the flip side of that. You dealing with, I don't want to say the best of both worlds, but you
Right.
you dealing with both situations head on, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot of stress,
Right.
Going to work every single day and then like not knowing what's going on. I mean, I did find out that I have the antibodies, so that's a good thing. But that just means at some point, I was infected and I didn't know I was infected. And my son actually has the antibodies too, so that's both good things. But who knows if this thing, what they're saying is it's going to mutate, it's going to change, and all that stuff. And being in the hospital, I don't know. You never know if you're walking into something and you don't know if you're gonna get sick. You're gonna bring it home to your family, to your friends. Like it's just it's a lot. And then with everything going on with we need a lot of prayer in the
Right,
world.
right. So that just being a mom and fighting your own battle, you fighting a double battle. You saving people, and then on top of it, you got to make sure your son is good.
Right. And you gotta have my son's a teenager. You gotta have that story from you gotta tell them everything that's going on with, when they get pulled over by the cops, how to act, how to not act, how to, not um, you know, push anybody to do anything to you. It's just crazy because you're gonna, you're brown, you're tan, you're black, you're gonna get racially profiled. And it's a sad truth, but it's something that we deal with in the world. Not like I said, I'm not anti-cop, and I'm not anti any of that, but I'm definitely for police reform, especially having a child, a son who's going to be driving in this, in the world soon.
Absolutely. And we got
So
we
I'm
got
hoping
another
that there is
queen.
something that they're going to do with police reforms.
Absolutely. Now we got another queen in the building. We got Sarah. What's going on?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hi, how are you?
Man, my heart is heavy. My heart is heavy. Everything that's going on. But we're hanging in there making the best of everything, staying
Right.
positive.
Yeah, that's really the only thing you can do. I stay in
Mm.
prayer, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so Sarah, you just introduce yourself to the people. Right now, we got 130 people watching us. So, just introduce yourself to the people and what you do, and
So
Hold on, let me tell the people before you start that though, because you see that painting in the background,
oh
right?
yeah, I'm working, baby. I'm
Yeah,
working.
she got these hidden
I
talents.
like that. I like
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
this me right here.
she got these hidden talents, man, and
We gotta improvise, man. It's quarantine. We gotta improvise.
so I shared some of your paintings, on YouTube, and obviously,
Oh, thank you, thank you.
but this is her in person right now, and she's a woman of many trades. So go ahead and introduce yourself and let them know what you do and your background and things of that nature.
Yeah, so basically I started out in boxing about 15 years ago. Uh, and I, started off as a manager, and now I work as, I was working in promotions. I still, want to be in the business, but, the coronavirus kind of took a toll on everything. And then also, my boss at the time, he had a little legal problem, so he's currently incarcerated. So, which had nothing to do with me, but moving on to bigger and better things. And during this time, everybody has to pay their bills, so I figured why not paint, and I've been doing pretty good at it, so it's been working out for me.
She been doing pretty great at it.
Yeah.
She don't want to pat herself on the back.
Behind you, I love it.
Yeah, I had there's a rapper. I didn't even really know who he was, but I knew of the song called. It was a Big Drip. The song's called Big Drip.
Oh yeah,
yeah, 5 and I didn't know who he was, but he hit me up on Instagram, and I asked my daughter. I was like, "Who is this dude?" And she lost her mind. So I was like, "Wow, it must be something special." So yeah, I'm doing one for him now, and. I did a few for like some fighters that I've worked with in the past, like Andre Durrell, so yeah, it's been cool. I've been getting a lot of support, and it's been fun, and I feel like that's like key to success, right? If you're doing something that you really love, it's never really a job, right?
It's never a job when you do what you love.
Yeah, you're doing something you love, it never feels like work. So and I've been blessed with that for the majority of my life, to be working in boxing and to be, using my artistic ability. So it's been cool. It's been a blessing.
And not just being on a you've been on the front line for everything that's been going on.
Oh yeah, I have to. I'm obligated to be there. I have a Black daughter. So everything that I do is for her future, and so that she doesn't have to go through the things that Black people today are currently going through and have been going through for 400 years. Right. So it's important that, I think it would be negligent if I didn't, if I didn't do that. And I let her come with me one time during the daytime just to experience it. And there was not one incident. It was completely peaceful. And it was just a beautiful thing, and it really brought tears to my eyes, because it's, when you think about how long Black people have been going through this shit, and the complete denial of white, it's sickening. It's really sick, and it bothers me, and I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay. Never have I been okay, but even more so now, where it's just like they're just blatantly doing it, and they don't care who sees. It used to be kind of like a hidden thing for a while, but now they're just outright doing it like we're back in the 1900s again. It's they just don't care.
And thank God for social media. Thank God for technology, so we have cameras, and it's getting video recorded.
Absolutely,
to bring awareness to the situation.
Yeah, these are just the ones that we see.
That you see, right? Exactly.
These
are the other stories and everything didn't even get any airtime.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
and there's another thing is really good to see, like Europe participating, and Germany, and everywhere, all over the world, to actually recognize the struggle.
They have their own separate issues too. I'm sure racism is
right
there too.
Right, it's all over the place. Colonization happened everywhere. It's all over the place. It's horrible.
Yeah,
and there needs to be reforms everywhere, worldwide. There needs to be a worldwide reform.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And the way minorities are viewed across the world. You can go anywhere in the world, and someone will have some kind of stereotype about someone's skin complexion, and it's ridiculous from what they saw on TV or what they was taught growing up. It's crazy.
And so I want to ask y'all, right, because we had a Million Man March, right? And my thing is this, right?
Oh yeah, that was back in the 90s, yeah.
Right. But my thing is this.
2000s.
My thing is this, right? I always say that women are power, right? Now, men present physical strength, right? A physical presence, right? But women
Right.
are power, right? And so we had a million man march. But I say if one woman walks down the street, one beautiful woman walks down the street, she could get at least 10 guys to follow her, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a million women show up in DC, then I think you could double the men. I think that
Well, we did that already. We had the Women's March.
Right.
Yeah,
I
we
was
did
there.
have the Women's March.
We did that. We did
But-
that.
We most certainly did.
We did it in DC. We did it in every major city in the United States. You know, and I
So what
my
you're
daughter to that
saying,
one too.
Cheyenne, is we need to do another Women's March.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
think
maybe more. I mean, I would encourage a Black Women's March or women of color.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
because the march I went to actually was for Breonna Taylor. Specifically Breonna Taylor, because we hear about George Floyd, and we hear about Ahmaud, and we hear about Trayvon, and we hear about Tamir Rice, and we hear about Rodney King, and we hear about all the men, but it feels like the Black women always get pushed to the wayside.
Right. It's like they get drowned
Like
into the
they
back.
get forgotten about. And today would have been her 27th birthday.
Mhm.
84 days have gone by and nobody's been arrested. So we don't talk about her. We don't talk about the injustices to her. And if, Black women, they start talking about it, what are they called?
Mhm.
Right.
Angry Black women. You're angry. Yeah,
Of course.
you're fucking right. They're angry. And they have a right to be angry. You know what I mean? And if not for nothing, y'all raised these motherfuckers. Excuse my language. But the ancestors of the whites today, their parents didn't raise them. Y'all raised them.
Exactly.
So they should be saying thank you.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So for me, it's so important to just represent Black women and just really cherish y'all. You know what I mean? And put y'all on a
Yeah,
path.
you have
because
to.
Y'all are the mothers of this nation. Truth.
Mhm.
That's right.
Y'all are really.
Right, but just so many people don't know. Like they don't know who they are. They're lost. They're not told. They're not educated on who they are. They don't educate their sons. So then their sons go out and there's colorism within every minority race. There's colorism. Every minority race that has multiple levels, there's colorism, and that plays a big role in why Black women get pushed to the back.
Absolutely.
Colorism is huge. That needs to start. We need to clean up our own house, right along with police reforms and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Has to
Absolutely.
get cleaned up,
It's-
and a lot of
so-
people don't want to bring light to that, but that has to be brought to the forefront as well.
100%.
Do y'all feel like so I could tell y'all my backstory with this because it's real personal, this situation for me, because in 77 my grandfather, which was my father's father, was killed by the cops.
Wow.
My grandmother
Right.
won the case that took place in Queens, and my grandmother won the case. And then in 85,
Which is
my-
rare.
in 85,
Especially back then.
Mm-hmm.
my uncle was my father's oldest brother, which was my grandfather's oldest son, firstborn son. He was killed by the cops, right? And she won that case too. But what I saw,
Wow.
she through the entire thing with my uncle, we couldn't bury him. It took us 2 months to bury him because they continued to do different autopsies and said that he had a weapon and so on and so forth. So it took 2 months, right? Watch, my grandmother was the epitome of strength, right? And I
Right.
watched my uncles, I watched my great uncles, her brothers, I watched them, fall off, like fall apart. And she kept everything together. And then immediately after she won my uncle's case, she got $4.5 million for that case. But his wife at the time was pregnant with twins, and she lost the twins. She went into a coma and she lost the twins because he was killed in his driveway.
Right.
Then my aunt, his sister, which is his only sister, she went into a coma. So this is real personal for me, right? But I watched the women in my family be the strength to get us through, because everybody was falling apart, right? Because it was only 8 years after my grandfather was wrongfully killed, right? And then my grandmother started to feel like my family was targeted, so she was nervous. But I watched her today's time she's still alive, but she has Alzheimer's now. She don't remember too much.
Right.
I truly wish at today's time that she really, her Alzheimer's got bad this year. So, you know, I really wish that right now she was able to speak, you know, and be able to tell her story, you know, and be able to
Right.
some of these families, but she can't do it anymore, you know. So that's why I say I wanted you guys there, because I watched the women in my family be the strength, you know. So
Right.
I want to get what you guys think could be the solution for this, you know, from a woman's point of view, and you guys are raising Black children, you know what I mean? And it's tough time. Not only is it a time that we're dealing with the brutalities and the unjust, but we also dealing with a virus that we was already dealing with, right? And
Right.
you know, so in these times, I think that, you know, we need to lean on our women and see, you know, and you guys are the brains, you know. So what's you guys' solution? What you think is the solution?
I don't think there is
I
just one clear cut solution. You know, I don't, and I think that education is key. You know, educating people, reforming our school system, what we teach in the history books. You know, because Black history is an elective. It's an elective. It's not just a class that's required. You read history books, they skip over slavery. Like, it's like they talk about a little bit, but you don't go into Black leaders and, you know, really the civil rights movement. They, you know, you get to hear about Martin Luther King, but you don't hear about the other side. They don't really go into Malcolm X too much. Why? Because he was militant.
Right, and they don't go into Nat Turner and all these things, and so it falls on the women at home as the teachers to teach your children.
Absolutely.
That's what I do. I mean, it's Black History Month in my house every single day.
Right.
My son can tell you about all different types of Black history. My mother it starts with my mother. She has a degree in Africana Studies, so we've been learning about our history since we were children. It's just a conversation at this point in my house. You know, and that's how it has become in every single house across America, and not in Black houses and Spanish houses, and every house across. If you have to teach your own history to your children so that they can understand and realize who they are and who they come from, and their history doesn't begin in slavery. That's not the beginning of their history,
Right.
And it's up to us to tell them, because you know, we definitely need school reforms. But if you don't get that in time for your children, you're going to be the ones who have to teach.
You're responsible, absolutely,
right?
Absolutely, but
We're the
you know,
we're the responsible party.
Yeah, we're always going to deal with racism. You know, racism is a taught trait. It's passed down from generation to generation. You know, it takes one kid to change the cycle, but that's their decision to do so.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So if, you know, if they're around other kids that have the same viewpoints of their parents, most likely they're not going to change.
They're not going to change.
You know, so it's a generational thing. It's passed down. All we can do is educate them, man. You know, and it's up to them to decide whether or not they want to take heed.
There she goes, Katrina. Katrina's here now. Peace and blessings.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, guys, please forgive me for being so late. I got so much going on in this apartment. I got my sons in the studio, and I'm like, if y'all don't be quiet. But it's good to see everybody. What's up, Blue?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there.
So just introduce. We got 160 people watching right now. You know, they saying bring the ladies back on. So they gave a little bit of their background already. You know, so just give a little bit of your background and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Queens, New York. I grew up in Atlanta, though. I moved to Atlanta when I was about 13, Norcross, Georgia, Gwinnett County. That's where I got all of my growing up and life experience. I moved back to New York when I was 26. I have 3 sons. And this time right now is really, I'm not trying to go too deep. I'm trying to catch up, but it's very emotional right now. But I mean, yeah, I'm a single mom. I have 3 adult sons, young adult sons. I got my start in boxing when I was, maybe 26, 27 in 2005. And it's just a lot going on. You know, I'm trying to get back into the boxing world, and I'm trying to make sure my sons are, you know, all right mentally.
So what's your take on it? I guess I can introduce you to you. Do you know Sarah?
No, I don't know anyone on the panel but you, Blue.
Okay. So Sarah is also a promoter, boxing promoter. She's a painter, and she's in the boxing world, obviously. And Danique is on the front line, right? She's
Hello.
in the room, right? So,
Hi.
I wanted to, and she also too is raising a son. Um, I don't want to tell her personal back, but I know you guys' personal background is very, very similar. You know, as far as raising sons, on you guys' own right now. And I was saying that I was explaining to them this is personal this time for me. For one, I got the virus. I had the COVID virus, so I
Wow.
experienced that. I just got better like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, right? Um, uh, and as far as the police brutality is, my grandfather in '77 was killed by the police wrongfully. My grandmother won that case. And then in '85, my uncle was killed by the police, and my grandmother also won that case, which was my grandfather's oldest firstborn son, right? Um, the Do the Right Thing, the was actually supposed to be based off of my uncle. Spike Lee had reached out to my grandmother, um, but she didn't want to keep reliving it. And we actually have the tape of him being
Oh,
murdered.
that was your uncle?
Yeah,
Wow.
right. So
Radio
Wow.
Raheem.
the part with Radio Ryan.
Yeah. Radio
Spike spoke
Raheem.
about that on CNN the other night. He spoke about
He
it.
sure did. He did.
You watched that, right?
Yeah, so
Hmm.
he
Wow.
had
I
reached
saw that on CNN.
he reached out to her, but she didn't want to make it a full story about my uncle because she didn't want to keep reliving it.
Mm.
The 8 year span, she dealt with her
Understandable.
husband. She dealt with her husband and now her oldest son, right? So she didn't want to relive it. But so that part where I could give you guys there was a lady that had recorded, and back then you remember camcorders had just came out, right? And there was a lady recording it. So my uncle, the guy they was actually chasing a guy. The cops he ran and slid under my uncle's car. My uncle was coming out going to work. He had a suit on and a brim hat, and the cops grabbed him and started shaking my uncle up. So he told the cops that he wanted to let him reach in his back pocket and show his ID. And they put him on the knees and they shot one time. They
Mm.
raised him, and he told the cop, "So you're gonna kill me?" And the cop shot again and shot him under his eye. But we have it
Oh
Wow.
my God.
because there was a lady that was actually recording it. So, my mother actually, somebody told, knocked on the door because we lived across the street from my uncle, and he was in his driveway. So somebody came and told my mother. My mother ran down there, and my father, but somebody identified my father and said, that's his brother, so they keep him away. And then my mother made it through, and then somebody told her, there go his sister. But she actually saw him laying there, and she was fighting her way through. They slammed on her knee. She had to go to the hospital. She had bruises because she was fighting to get through. But they threw him in the back seat, a la Do the Right Thing. They threw him in the back seat, and then a fire truck came and they washed his blood down the drain, right? And so, it's similar to Do the Right Thing because my grandmother didn't want to give the full, story of my uncle. So he just based
Right.
it solely off of that. So it's personal for me. But Katrina, you have 3 sons, right?
Absolutely.
And they're growing up in this time in the city, and it's tough. So which I asked them, their thoughts on their solution because I'm one to, I saw my grandmother hold up and hold the family together, being a woman. And I saw the men in my family fall apart. They fell apart, right? And so I saw, my grandmother, was the one who, kept everything together. And today's time, she just developed Alzheimer's, and now she don't remember too much of anything. Just this year, so I really wish she was here to be able to lend a word and her experience. And my uncle's wife was pregnant. I told him that she was pregnant with twins, and she went to
Wow.
she lost the baby. So we didn't just lose him. She was 7 months pregnant. So we didn't just lose him. We also lost the baby. So we lost 4 people. you know, in dealing with the situation. But my personal experience is I watch the women in my family keep us together, and that always symbolized power for me. That always, I always felt like you could lean on the strength is always a woman, right? It may be unfair that we place that jacket on you, but you're able to multitask. You're able to deal with so many different things.
Blue, can I say something? Can I say something? I want to interject on what you just said. My sons just shared that same exact sentiment. They know that I'm a pillar to lean on, but they also know it's not fair. They don't want to put that much on me. Unfortunately, I've had this conversation with my sons over and over and over. This is not just one isolated incident. This has happened. We all know, but this time it's a bit different for me because my sons are not little guys anymore. So it's not just me interjecting my motherly, knowledge and my motherly love and all that onto them now. It has changed because now that me being 43, I have a 19-year-old that's going to be, he's going to be 19 in August. I have a 22-year-old who just turned 22 in April. And I have a 25-year-old. He just turned 25 in March. So our conversation is not more or less of me being motherly so much and giving them that motherly advice. It's more, and being a teacher, it's more being a student now and just learning and observing from my male sons. Honestly speaking, firsthand, it's hard. They don't like it. It's really bad for them. It's tough for them. It's really tough for them. And what you said, Blue, they don't want to put that burden on me that they're leaning on me for the love and the nurturing and the prayers because they're young men. But at the end of the day, it's tough. My sons, I teach them, I said, listen, they already know that, first and foremost, they're special. They're set apart. They're different. They're sought after. And because of all of those qualities, they're a target. They're a mark. They're hated. So, and what I learned raising sons as a single woman and as a young parent, because I became a mother at 16, going into 17, and my sons are 3 years apart. What I learned now is that I have to listen to them. I have to understand where the male point of view is coming from because I could not raise them as men because I'm a woman, but I can only raise them and train them up in the way that they should go.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So now that they're young men, they're all working and they're taking care of themselves and holding me down. Before it was my apartment, now it's their apartment, so I'm ready to go. But outside of that, it's I won't sugarcoat it. I won't say it's all roses and it's all good because I've been this great mother. No, my sons is angry. I have 3 biological sons, but I have about 12 adopted sons, and I have 1 adopted daughter. Not legally through the system, but through love, through heart. You understand what I'm saying? So I sit here and I listen to them. I'm the only one that's about 20, 25 years removed from all of them that can actually understand, sympathize, empathize, but also still give them guidance. And the point and where I'm at with it is I don't want to infiltrate their mindset with my ideologies, but I also want to steer them in the right way. And my 3 sons, they are angry. They are upset. They are, when my motherly instinct comes in, I curb the violent part of them. But most importantly, they are determined. And that's all that I ask for. They are determined to succeed. They are determined to erase the stereotypes. Listen to me, guys. I don't have to be where I'm at. I am in the largest housing projects in the United States of America. I live in Queensbridge projects. Do you understand that? I'm looking at police violence. I'm looking at black on black crime. I'm looking at drug sales. But guess what I'm also looking at? Gentrification. I'm looking at growth. So with all that, I try to take the bad, the good, and the in between and try to just focus my sons. They're young men. They're men. And there's so much that I can do as far as, just guiding them and leading them. I pray for them, but I train them up in the way they should go. I just try to instill the most positive in them. I try to let them know that everybody ain't all bad, but everybody ain't all good. So watch. You understand? So that's my approach. It's a different thing for me right now because 4 or 5 years ago, I can talk to them, like a mother. But now these are young men. These are men. So I have to. My approach is
Right. So your narrative had to change.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And Sarah, you raising like we just talked about, the black woman's voice gets muted, and you
Mhm.
are raising a black woman.
Wow.
Absolutely, absolutely, and she is, man. Let me tell you, she's bullheaded, and she got a voice, and she is going to use it. That little girl is something else. Let me tell you, she's about to be 17 this month, and you know, she's obviously biracial, but she identifies as black, which she is, right? But she's found, what do I want to say, like solace, like companionship in the black community, because they're the only ones that accepted her. You know what I'm saying? Like she had white friends as she was a little girl, but she just slowly veered to the black community, which is expected, right? Because she's black, and that's what America's going to view her as. They don't say, oh, they're not going to say, oh, she's biracial. No, she's black. She looks black. She's a black girl. So um I've always known that, and she's always known that. And I feel like as a white woman, it's my job to educate myself and to be able to teach her, because I don't know what it's like to be a black woman. I don't know what it's like, but I can have strong black women around her. I have sisters, and it doesn't mean blood. They're my sisters, and they help with whatever that I fall short on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I need to keep, because her father, I mean, she has a relationship with him, but he's not around, and that side of the family, she doesn't really see often.
Right.
So I keep my friends close to me and close to her, because it's important that she has
Right.
that, obviously my parents
Understands
love
her
her to
culture.
death. They
Yeah.
love her to death, and I'm educated in the black culture. I'm educated, but I don't know what it's like, and I'll never know what it's like. So I keep people of color around my daughter, older people of color, to make sure that she's well educated and taught the right thing on what to do in certain, you know, I couldn't tell her the feeling of what it's like to be afraid to be pulled over by the cops. I don't know that feeling. I've
Right.
never
Because you
been
don't have
afraid
it.
for my life. I have white privilege, and people think that that's not real. It's
But
real.
you know what? That's so real for you saying that. I appreciate you saying that because that's real.
Right. To actually acknowledge it. 'Cause a
Yeah,
lot of people
it's
like to
real.
live
Right.
the delusional
I've
fantasy
never
that
been
it doesn't
afraid for my
exist.
life. I've never been afraid for
Right.
my life. It's like when, and I check every white friend, and I don't even call them friends no more. I've lost so many friends over this shit. And then I feel like they weren't even my friend to begin with. They were my friend to begin with, because if you're saying to me all lives matter when I say Black lives matter, I'm sorry, ma'am. Are you ever afraid for your life when you walk outside?
Right. It's obvious. We know all lives matter, but we just
Oh,
need
I mean,
help with Black lives
clearly.
right now.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we just need
You,
help with Black
as
lives. We
as
know all
Black
lives matter.
people,
Hello.
you have literally been given your humanity. Three-fifths compromise. You were given your humanity. When you're given your humanity, it could be taken away, and you have to fight for it. I've never had to fight for my humanity. I've never had to fight for somebody to view me as a human being. So I don't know that feeling. And so when people say that all lives matter, it's just, to me, like a slap in the face to y'all. It really is. It really is. So I check them. I really do. I check them. And I've lost plenty friends, and which I don't consider friends anymore, because I have a Black child. They know I have a Black child. And when you're going against what I'm talking about, and when I know I'm speaking facts, you weren't my friend to begin with, because you don't give a damn about my kid.
And that's a
Right.
fact.
And ultimately her life. And
Yep.
that's really sad.
Yep.
That's very sad.
Because you don't
A
have
lot of people
they
real
don't have
quiet
to
on your
teach their kids.
timeline.
They don't have to teach their kids how to get pulled over by the cops. They don't have to teach their kids about affirmative action. They don't have to teach them about certain things that I have to teach my kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember I was bartending one time. This is a true story because white people speak freely. I always like post stuff on my IG on this episode of white people speaking freely, right? Because they talk to me thinking that I'm going to agree with them because I'm white, right? I was bartending one time. I was bartending one time, and I worked for the Salt Bay guy, right? And this couple from Nashville came in, and I heard the accent, and white couple. And I was like, oh, where are you guys from? Oh, we from Nashville. I said, well, the closest I ever got to Nashville was Memphis. I did a boxing event there, Showtime. And they're like, oh, man, Memphis is dirty. It's nasty in Memphis. I said, why that? Why is that? Oh, it's a lot of N-words there. I was like, oh, really? Okay. So I let them keep going. I just want to hear, because my favorite, it gives me so much joy and so much pleasure making these people feel like assholes. Like just really like, just, yeah, but embarrassing them. So I let them go on, and then they're like, well, what do you think about affirmative action? You know, if your kid applies for college and got the same GPA as a black kid, and that black kid gets in over your kid, how would you feel? I told him, I said, well, I wouldn't have that problem because my kid is the black kid. Now what? And guess what they did? Closed their tab and got the fuck.
Straight like that.
Well, I think a lot of people don't
like
believe
that.
in
It happens all
systemic
the time,
racism.
though.
A lot of people don't believe that it exists, and it does. You know, systemic racism is real.
But how do you deal with the secondary racism and backlash because you are standing up for a different culture? How do you deal with that?
I don't care. I don't need you in my life. You know what I mean? Like, it's so disgusting to me, those type of people. Like, I would never even want you around me.
Right.
You know,
I get that.
One thing that I love about Trump is that he gave these motherfuckers a voice, right? And now it's easy to tell who's who.
He brought them all out.
Right? I don't have to guess. I don't have to say to, like, what's that game? Guess who?
That's a fact.
You are who you are, and you make it very clear because this motherfucker made it okay. And he says what he says, and he doesn't care. He does not care. He has no empathy, and that's right with me. Show your colors. Let them shine.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to guess who's who. You know?
Right.
Show me who you are now, so I can know.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I love it personally. I love it. Like, so that I don't have to waste my time.
And that's a fact.
That's a fact.
But
so,
definitely brought a lot of them out
friends and white friends.
So Danique, what issues have you run into with like I said, you on the front line both ways, right? You trying to save lives that you don't know, and you got to save your son's life at the same time, being on the front. So you worrying about you know, you have two things coming at you at once, which is a historic moment that we're living in. You know, so what
right. It's like United States is at a big crossroads, and it's like what path are you gonna take, you know? And hopefully it's one to redemption and righteousness and enlightenment, and, you know, just a whole awakening on every single level, because that's where it needs to go. You know, I try to educate as much people as I can, but when you really don't understand about racism, and, you know, I have no time for that, because I got to save my son. I got to save, my cousins, my family. That's who I got to save.
Right.
I got to teach them about Black entrepreneurship, which I think is a huge, huge thing. That's what we really need to focus on. The Black race, the Spanish race, that's what we need to focus on, especially the Black race. Black entrepreneurship needs to be pushed. We need to push that. We need to tell our children now. When my son, we talk about the future. What do you want to build when you grow up? What business do you want to own? Because that's really where it is. And, you know, economic wealth is huge. Black entrepreneurship is something that really needs to be pushed.
And that's,
you know, so that you don't have to have a job and deal with people who are racist and have to, you know, not not and have to ignore the racist comments that come out of people's mouths because you don't want to get fired because you got a mortgage to pay.
Yeah.
I believe
You know
that's
what I mean?
That's the only
It's
solution.
crazy.
And
You
that's
know?
part of the solution is Black people supporting each other, and not just Black people supporting each other, but other races
Right.
supporting y'all. It's okay to
Right.
shop
Exactly.
Black owned. It's okay to shop
Right.
Black owned. Why not?
Right.
You're not racist, right? You're not
Right.
racist, right? Black Lives
That's a-
Matter.
Right.
Support their
'Cause
business.
I definitely support a whole bunch of white companies.
Yes,
All of them,
Right.
you know?
Okay.
Go get your little shea butter. You know what I
I
mean?
live in
Okay.
Long Island. I support a whole bunch of white companies.
Okay.
So, you know.
And I got a friend, LeRon Reviews on Instagram, and all he does is he finds Black owned businesses from
Right.
garbage bag companies, Black owned laundry detergent, soaps, whatever you name it, he
Right.
finds, right. He finds
Right. And that's
Black-owned.
great. I would love to know where that is because you can't just focus on clothing lines. Clothing lines are great.
You really
But we need
can't.
to
I
get
actually
into
have a
other
list.
things. Toilet paper, tissue paper,
Yeah.
light. You got to
Mhm.
focus on more things. Home goods,
Well, that's
dog
actually
food, all these different things.
that's actually one of the reasons why I'm sitting here with my earphones plugged in, because with everything that has happened, starting with in what is it, March, with the whole pandemic and then the shooting, all this, I've always preached to my sons entrepreneurship because that's how I got it. I got it out the ground, you
Right.
know, from my boxing career to my lifestyle now. Like, thank God I don't have to apply for unemployment if I want to, but since I was
Right.
an entrepreneur and doing hair and all that, I can get that. But the reason why I'm
Right.
sitting here with you guys right now with these plugs in my ears is because preaching and talking to my adult sons and investing in them has afforded them to build their own studio inside my closet. They built their own recording studio. My sons are engineers, they're producers, they're writers. One of my sons is an actual artist as far as clothing and all that. But I said, you know
Right.
what? We push the entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. My goal is to be a philanthropist at the end of the day. I've always preached that with my sons because we didn't have anything to start with. So I had to preach that to them. So now in this day and age with this pandemic and with them killing us like we're roaches and like we're flies and the economy and how everything is, y'all, let's figure it out. Y'all got gifts, y'all got
Right.
talents, and we got a little bit of
Right.
resources. You
Hey,
know,
listen,
and
Right.
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. They in there, they making their runs to Home Depot, they getting the stuff to build a studio, they building the equipment. It starts entrepreneurship and Black enterprises and supporting our own. It's a start, but find out where you can
Right.
start. It might start right in
Right.
your home.
Absolutely.
Right.
Let's
And
just go with
Right.
it.
That's huge.
They say, you know, you can make it.
Anytime. I always tell my friends, anybody.
Man, listen, you can do whatever you,
I
want.
have a
to do.
business degree. Ask me. I always can tell. I tell people all the time.
And I
let me
believe
know
this is
what
the
you wanna
time.
do, how you
The
want to start
time
it,
is
and I will help
now.
you.
Man, if
The
you don't
time
come
is
out of this
now.
pandemic a better person, that's on you.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm saying.
Right.
we got too much time on our hands not to learn a new trade.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Right.
girl, you could get a candle kit on Amazon for $50 and make candles at home. You know,
Okay.
Right.
like there's too many ways to make money, and we in New York City where there's endless people.
Right.
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 You know,
Right.
somebody
Right.
gonna buy it.
Right.
Somebody's
Right.
gonna buy
Right.
whatever you
I
have
was like
to
at the
sell.
beginning, there was no mask being available. I told my mom sews. I was like, Mom, make masks.
Yeah,
Right.
Me masks, she had orders. Before she had thousands of orders. She was
Endless.
filling back, before
Right.
the CDC was telling anybody to put a mask on. I was like, listen, everybody, I had my family in my entire house in a mask.
Right.
8, 9, 10, 11 weeks ago when I seen what was
Right.
going on in the hospital. I had an advantage, obviously, working in the hospital, you see so much more. So I told her, you have to make masks. If this was before anything was available, she was making masks out of material in her house, so you have to see a window of opportunity and just take it,
That's right.
I mean,
whenever that window is and whatever, supply and demand.
That's
you know,
right.
I was telling fighters that, obviously they can't fight for a while, right? And they're like, damn, what do? I told one guy to go deliver for Grubhub. He made $1,000 in one weekend.
Okay.
$1,000 in one weekend.
That's how my
Everybody
sons.
come.
This is how
Everybody
my
come.
sons are funding the studio project. Okay, Grubhub,
Yes.
DoorDash,
Grubhub.
Okay?
Yep.
Like,
Uber
don't tell
Eats.
me ain't no excuse right now.
Uber Eats. Okay,
Yeah.
my
Uber
my
Eats.
19-year-old just got hired 2 days ago. Thank you, God. He's working. He's doing overnight. He's stocking for Dollar Tree somewhere out in Queens, but he's getting pandemic pay and all this. But it's a hustle. He said, "Ma,
Right.
this is not what I want to do, but this is going to help me, get to the next point."
Do what he
Exactly.
wants to do. That's what he's going to help him live his dream. It's
Exactly.
something for right now.
Exactly.
It's not a
Exactly.
career, but it's just something
Exactly.
for right now
They
to get
hustling.
over the hump,
They hustling to build their future, and I'm all for it. I'd
Absolutely.
rather them
Right.
focus on that
Right.
than
That's
worrying
black
about getting shot.
entrepreneurship right there.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And
Right.
and this is the motto I have for my sons and all my adopted sons and daughters. I say, listen, if you guys are doing anything positive, I have you 100%. If you are doing anything positive that's not just going to benefit you and your family, but others, it's going to spread that
Right.
blessing. I got you 100%. And when I said that, and then this pandemic hit, God is good. It's happening. I'm talking about they are growing. I mean, I can't. This situation is very draining. It's hurtful. It's sad. It makes me angry. But the fact that I do have 3 young adult sons and they're focused and they're determined,
Right.
that pushes me. That pushes me.
Now let me
Right.
let me ask y'all about seem to be ready to open everything back up. They slowly doing it, right? Sport of boxing that we all love. There's a lot of talk. I just talked to Bob Arum yesterday, and he said that most of the big fights he's looking to place outside of the country, right?
Oh man.
How you guys feel about I watched the UFC last week, and there's no audience. It didn't seem that bad. It wasn't as I thought it was going to be real dry, but it didn't seem to be as bad as I thought it might be. How do y'all feel about the sport of boxing, and big fights, being placed with no crowds? Terrence Crawford said he not willing to do so with no crowds, So what's your thoughts on these fights, or should there be like I don't like to say C-level fights because we know they all put their life on the line every time. So there's no
Right.
C-level fight, right? But
Right.
do you think that they should put on a big fight? Like Bob Arum said that there's no funds for Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter because there's no groups outside of the country that's willing to pay for that because of Sean Porter's lack of notoriety outside of the country. So, but what do you guys think about fights being next week? We get fights. We get Shakur Stevenson back in the ring, So,
Right.
but what do y'all think about that?
Right.
With no crowds, no audience.
It's necessary just because these guys need to fight. They need to stay active, and
Right.
it's their job. So like how everybody else is going back to work, they need to go back to work too. But it's really up to the fighter. It's up to the fighter whether or not they want to fight or not, because this is such a mental game, right? Like some fighters depend on the crowd, like to come up and give them that.
They need that energy there,
Right.
Yeah.
So it's more of a mental thing for them, So I mean, I would completely leave it up to them, but for the people that are watching it on TV, I don't think it makes too much of a difference to us, But for a promoter, obviously it hits their pockets because they don't get the ticket sales and
Because they don't get the ticket sales. Yeah,
and
they
all
don't get
the
that
other
percentage.
stuff, you know what I mean? So it makes it a little more difficult, and therefore club shows are going to be non-existent for a while. Anything that doesn't have TV just isn't going to happen, because they're not going to put on guys if they can't make any type of money because the TV is paying for the show to go on TV, right? So that's how they pay the fighters. So it's just a lot of those up and coming kids, they're not going to fight for a while, and it's really sad.
Yeah, that sucks.
I agree with your point. I agree with your point as far as the fighters needing to fight and make money. As far as if we're going to do it like that, as far as is not have crowd participation and people being there, let's just leave that to the big fights. I don't want to see Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter. I don't want to see that. If we're not going to be able to see a live match with Terrence Crawford and somebody, I want to see it. If it's that way, I want to see it with TB and Earl Spence. I'll take it that way. If I can't be live there to see that fight, let's just see it like that. But honestly speaking, crowd participation is needed with a fight. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. I'm sorry to say that, but
I love going to boxing matches.
Yeah, you brought up a valid point about a fighter and it being mental,
really
and they needing that crowd. That is different, because a lot of these sports, it's not just one person; it's a team. So they have that with a fighter. Right. He's walking in there outside of his corner men and all that. He's walking in there. I just say we can't get to the fights. I don't even want to say hold off because I'm feeling to see a good match, but I don't know.
Oh my God, I've been watching reruns.
You understand? I'm not even a UFC or MMA and all that, but I was watching the fights and I was kind of impressed how these guys was still getting in there and was allowing themselves to really, get into the fight with no crowd. I was impressed, but I don't know about my sport that I love. I don't know. I want to see there. I want to scream. I want to yell. I want to push the fight on. I don't understand all that's going on right now. And you're right. These promoters is going to lose a lot of money. So how they going to feel about that?
Right.
They're going to lose a lot of money.
Right. But also, fighters, that inactivity is a big thing. You know what I mean?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
So you might say, oh, okay, I don't want to see Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter, but shit, making them sit out 6 months might make that fight some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, guess what? If you're a real fighter, and you understand what's going on, you're gonna keep that mindset. You're gonna keep yourself in that
real though.
You're gonna still be training.
You understand?
Yeah.
You understand?
You're gonna be in the gym training and doing everything you gotta do.
This situation right here is gonna show who really won it. This situation right here is gonna show who really won it. It's gonna show who's been in the gym. Right. They're gonna show who's been in the gym and on social media. It's gonna show who's been working out.
Right.
That's all. Yeah. I want to see it.
I'm ready all my guys on social media, and I'm just like, you need to be in the gym.
Right.
Get in the gym, guys.
To me, it's like it's showing. Just
asking.
I feel like this is the opportunity for the young fighters, right? I think
this
is the perfect opportunity for Devin Haney. I think that this is the perfect opportunity for Gervonta Tank Davis.
Yes.
Right. They could build. They awarded. It's like the sport was put on pause, but it allows them,
to catch up.
Right. To build up themselves by the time it truly resumes back to normal. Right. They can't be denied anymore. Right.
I'm glad you said that, Blue.
Right.
I'm glad you said that. It goes back to normal.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not, I don't feel like we're ever going to get back to what we think of as normal.
No, but it's going to be a new normal. It's a new normal.
Yeah. You think that will be a normal?
No. It's always, I think the normal is the mask and less capacity.
You're right about that. The
normal is going to be the mask.
It's going to be a new normal. We're never going to go back to the way life as we knew it.
And
I'm in the institutions, the hospitals, everything is just different.
But what I'm hoping for to go back, this reset, I'm hoping it goes back to the time where fighters fought the fights that made sense and that they want the fight and that we wanted to see. I wanted to go back to the time where the promoters. It wasn't about the promoters. It's about the fighters and the fights making sense and what we want to see. I'm hoping this reset goes back to that. Right. When I say
what the fans want to see, because the fans are the people who support the sport. So
that's right. Let it go back.
I want to see the fights. I want to see. Let
it go back. If they want to fight each other, let them fight. The money's going to be there. If the fans support it, it's going to be there. These promoters need to move out the way. I'm praying.
But
and I'm praying.
You know what I started to think about, like what Sarah said, is not going to go back to normal. A big part of boxing was the buildup. right? A big part of boxing, like the weigh-in. You know, that became an attraction. And if we can't have at the weigh-in, the fight could be the same. But if you can't have the fans and the media and everything at the weigh-in, that is going to take a serious hit, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Some people anticipated the weigh-in and the face-off more than the actual fight.
Because it's real. Yeah, it's real. We're there and we can see it and we understand it. We in that moment. If you take that away from us, it's just going to look like a production.
Right.
It's just going to look like,
It's like the Wilder Fury weigh-in. I was out in the hallway talking to Teofimo Lopez, and I was talking to Devin Haney and Bill, right? We were talking in the hallway, and we turned around, and this was at the weigh-in. We turned around, and they locked the doors on us. We couldn't get in. We were stuck out there with Mauricio Suleiman was stuck out there with us. Devin Haney, me, Teofimo Lopez, some entertainers. We were stuck because they came and they said, listen, it was overcapacitated. The fire marshal's here. If you had a credential, it didn't matter who you was. They was not letting you in. Some referees were stuck out there with us.
Oh, wow.
And this was at the weigh-in for Wilder Fury, right? And so I actually got stuck in the crowd when I came in. They was telling us to go sit in the crowd and just find a seat wherever you could find it. And I actually got stuck where I came down in the crowd just to try to see it. At this point, I couldn't even cover it no more because where we was at. And lo and behold, when I come down, guess who's in the crowd with me? Deontay Wilder's mother. Like
wow.
She couldn't get in either. So it was like wow. I didn't want to bring attention to it because I didn't want regular people just to know, because there was a lot of people drinking and so on and so forth.
But we need that pandemonium. We need that.
Right.
We need that.
Yeah, you need that.
Boxing's taking a hit. Think about like entertainers and concerts and that's how they make their money.
That's where they make their money. Touring is huge.
Yeah,
and that's how they make their money.
And not to mention that money brings money to the cities that they have in this fight. Like everybody wins if you do it right.
And it circulates through the economy.
Right. We need boxing. We need boxing.
We need boxing back now.
That's right.
Depend on Floyd. They used to depend on Floyd. That's why he only got that little amount of time in jail.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they needed him.
That's the truth.
Like billions of dollars went through Vegas when Floyd was
exactly.
That's right.
And that's my thing. Another thing is, unfortunately for the sport of boxing, right? Because of the way things are turning out with all sports, the 4 major sports are going to be going on Saturdays. So now we're going to have the NBA going into November and continuing the finals. They said the finals are going to end in October, but the season starts in November. So they'll be going.
I know.
The NFL will still be going. Then. So all the 4
it's like everything is like running into each other.
Right. And the worst part about it for boxing is they're going to be going on Saturdays.
Oh man.
Well, that's going to separate the real. That's going to separate the real fans and the real lovers of the sport from just those bandwagoners. It is what it is. It is what it is.
And
that is what it is. Definitely have people who aren't real boxing fans and they just casual watchers of the sport. And listen, we need all fans we can get, but
I that's gonna hurt.
Well, that's what. No, Blue, don't say it like that. That's where we come in as writers and interviews and journalists and bloggers and all that. Right. That's where we come in. I did this back in 2004, 2005 when social media wasn't really popping like all the platforms. I wrote the articles. I got the information out there. I brought it to light. If you didn't know, this was what's going to happen on Saturday. If you didn't know, this was going to happen in 2 months. So it's really a reset. It's going back to the basics. But Blue, I mean, you in the forefront right now. Like I said, back in 2004, 2005, I was doing the footwork as far as going out to the fights and flying out to the fights and interviewing fighters. You right here, Blue. You got the social media popping. It's up to you and like-minded individuals like us. All right, well, we got a game. If we got a basketball game on Saturday night, we got a football game, we got soccer, we got baseball, but we also got boxing. This what's happening.
Right.
And that's what you can do.
And you know what? I want to bring this up too, right? And I want to get you guys' opinion. I think that a lot of boxers miss their opportunity right now, not speaking up what's going on and being on the forefront, because this is where Muhammad Ali capitalized.
He sure
Oh,
did.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He's not
sure
he's
did.
known as the people's champ to
Right.
this
Sure
day.
did.
That's why
Exactly.
he's known as the people's
Kudos
champ.
to Floyd, though. Kudos to Floyd for
because
Amen.
oh, for
Yeah.
paying for the
Floyd.
funeral, and yeah.
And,
Took
and
care of that
He's been
funeral,
really,
right?
he's
That's
definitely
right.
doing his thing
Yeah.
when, I've been seeing him on social media. I follow him, and he's definitely been very involved.
yeah, he actually was riding through. I was surprised because I feel like he had a about face now. Because remember, at one point in time, he's like, "All lives matter." Colin Kaepernick needs to get up and get the bag.
He did.
Now
Yeah.
he was he paid for George Floyd's arrangements. And
Yeah, right.
I just saw him riding through neighborhoods, blasting "I'm Black and I'm Proud."
Yeah, I saw him on
I saw
live on
that too.
Instagram.
Yeah, it's like
But
and I think he's already established, right? And I would love for him to use this platform a lot more than he does to speak out. But I think that a lot of other boxers are missing their opportunity right now.
Yeah.
To stand up at least in your city.
People pay
Blue, can I say
attention.
this? Blue,
People
can I?
pay attention. I'm looking who's posting, who's saying something,
Yeah.
who's being quiet. I'm
Right.
watching.
Oh yeah,
I want to
I
say,
lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of respect for certain people, certain celebrities.
yeah.
That stayed
Mhm.
quiet in this.
I want to say
So
something to this point, though. Just sitting and talking with boxers and knowing a lot of boxers and having a lot of close relationship with a lot of boxers from the past and even to the present. The common denominator that I figured out and just saw in boxers is that yes, this is a one-man sport, and yes, it takes a lot, and the average man can't do it, and it takes a lot for it's a different person to be a fighter. What these fighters don't realize is that they actually have a voice. These guys are actually figures. They are actually outside of the reason why they started boxing. And when they realize that, like, you actually have a platform, I don't care how many fights you won, I don't care how many fights you lost. If you got a name you recognize, you're somebody. And a lot of these fights, this is why I love the sport of boxing, because it's so raw, it's so real. It's not a group effort. I'm fighting because I got this situation, I got a love for the sport, it's in me, or it's do or die. But what I realized, a lot of these fighters don't even recognize that they are actually somebody. They are somebody that's worth listening to, worth looking up to. And if a lot of these fighters understand who they are,
well, yeah, they're influencers.
they will then step out and what's the word? They will embrace that role. Floyd, I'm so proud of him because, like you said, Blue, he was flippy floppy. It was one way. Now it's like, wow, he learned. He learned after all of these fights and after being retired and all, he learned. But what I know about this generation of young fighters, they have all these great achievements, like AB, a lot of great achievements, but he still don't look at himself as somebody that's, I don't even want to call Adrian Brown a star, but he's a tremendous athlete. But because he doesn't look at himself in that light, he can't walk in that light. A lot of these
Well,
fighters,
he always hashtags still adjusting to fame, something to
you
that.
understand?
Something to that still
No,
adjusting
but
to
you know
fame
what
is what he always
I think it is with
hashtags.
Adrian is something going on up here.
It definitely
He
is.
has
It definitely is.
like he just has a lot of issues he needs to deal with.
I definitely think that a lot of stuff he do is a cry for help.
It is.
I mean,
Right.
he posts on social media he wants to kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he has a lot of demons that he needs to deal with, and he's not all there right now. Like
he's not. Adrian needs to sit down with somebody that understands what's going on in his mind. He got the boxing figured out. If Adrian focused, Adrian is a tremendous athlete. He is. That's a natural God-given talent. But it's up in here, and I've never laced on a pair of gloves in my life. Never wanted to. But it's something about the sport of boxing that I understand. I understand a fighter. I understand the mentality. And now that I'm older, I understand why. Like, it's the psychology of it all. A fighter told me, Trina, boxing is 90% mental. 90% mental, 10% physical. That was Nate Campbell. That's like one of my
That's my
god
boy.
brothers. I consider him a god
Yeah,
brother.
that's my boy.
You understand? They crazy with it.
Mhm.
He said Trina, boxing is 90% mental, 10% physical. Currently I'm a psychology major and I see it. I say, Lord, why did you choose me to understand people's mental, and why did you combine me with the sport of boxing? This is a serious thing that these guys are going into. They may see it as a way out, as a way of changing their life, but this is a physical thing. They're breaking down their bodies, they conditioning their bodies, they conditioning their minds. But when they're not ready for that, we get tweets and we get, posts from Adrian Bronner, such as he's adjusting to fame. He don't know. Adrian just needs somebody to sit down and be able to understand him mentally. He got it physically. There ain't nothing wrong
And I
with
think
it.
a lot of times people, when they become, famous, or when when they go into the spotlight so fast, it is an adjustment. And sometimes people, they become
Yes.
famous so fast, it's hard to adjust at the same
Right.
time. But then you have, the world watching you, and then they formulate an opinion on you. And then
Right.
once the world
Right.
and once the media
Right.
forms an opinion on
Right.
you, it's hard to
But
change
let
that
me
narrative.
say this.
You know?
And this like I've heard this forever, right? It takes a special person to be a boxer, right? Like that's not a normal thing to be getting hit in your head, right? You got to be a little,
Absolutely not. No,
you know what I
it's
mean? Like
not.
a little off. But I'll say this too, because I was engaged to a fighter, right? He experienced some really, really serious trauma as a kid, you know, beating, molestation. And I've heard that from a bunch of different fighters that they've been through some type of trauma in their childhood that gave them this rage, and they were always fighting. Like Devin Haney, right? Devin didn't go through any trauma, but he was always fighting in school. You know, so his dad said, "Well, you want to fight? Okay, cool. You're going to the boxing gym." You know,
Right.
like they and typically, stereotypically, but it's true, most fighters don't come from, great neighborhoods. They're coming from poverty. They're coming from single parent households. They're coming from, not the greatest environment. You know what I mean? So they have this built up frustration in them already that makes them want to fight. Or they're going to a community center like with Barry Hunter. He gets these kids from the projects. Lamont Peterson and Anthony Peterson were homeless. They were foster kids. So these kids are finding an outlet to let go of their frustrations, whether, instead of going into the streets and letting them out a negative way.
Right. They do it in the gym.
So this is another thing, like, and this all trickles down to the Black community, right? Like, mental health is like a stigma, and I've noticed that, like people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about the trauma they've been through as a kid.
It's like the Black community doesn't have mental health issues, which we all know that's not true, because that's a human issue.
Nobody
Mental health
wants
is a
to
human
talk about
issue.
it.
So
White people, they on Zoloft and Prozac and all this stuff. But Black people, like, it's like if they get on medication, they feel like something's really wrong with them.
It's wrong with them.
And it's okay. It's okay.
Well, a lot of times people, they're gonna they'll self-medicate. If they're not on medication, they'll just self-medicate with alcohol, drugs, weed.
So
yeah,
that's all systemic too, is because healthcare was not available. You know what I mean?
Right, and then that's when it goes back into systemic racism.
Like they psychiatry used to be like something that wasn't covered by a Medicaid, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Governmental health care. So therefore,
right, and you still have certain insurances that don't cover it.
They weren't exposed to getting the help. So therefore it became like taboo in the community, right? Whereas white people, we always had access to mental health care. So it's I think that's like a big thing that needs to be spoken about, and needs to have the stigma taken off of it, like, oh, there's something wrong with you and you're not normal if you talk to a therapist, or you get put on some type of anxiety medication. Like, can you imagine the amount of Black men today that are fucking suffering from anxiety? I'd be a mess.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be a mess if I were a black man today. I'd be suffering from anxiety, depression, all types of shit. You know, and it's okay to admit that you're feeling these things. You know, it's okay. I mean, white men do it all the time.
Right, but that's what makes the race so strong, and that's really what it is, because they suffer in silence and they just keep
Yeah,
on pushing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, because we
so
taught
I definitely hear what you're saying.
it
just
comes off
deal
as
with it. You're taught to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
It's just you
doesn't
gotta
have to
handle
be
it. That's
that
what life. That's the way it is. Keep it pushing.
Yeah, and
You
it
know,
doesn't have to be that way. You can
and
get
everybody can't just keep it pushing. Everybody doesn't have that kind of durability just
exactly,
because the color of the
exactly.
skin
Right.
to keep it pushing. So
we taught to
and
suppress
it's
it.
definitely something that right to suppress
Mm-hmm.
your feelings,
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah,
especially as
and it's a
just
shame.
just being a man overall. You taught to suppress your feelings, right?
of course.
Right. You're not you looked at it as weak if you say, oh, I don't feel this, or I feel, I feel this way, or you cry, it's like you're not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? Let me ask
Right.
you this, right? As women, when you hear, because I look at Facebook and I see a lot of people that I considered was friends of mine that now I look at them different, man, because
Questionable.
because a lot of them are saying, oh, I don't know if I could, if that was you. I had two people in particular. They say, well, if you was on the ground, I don't know if I could have pulled myself to go and push the cop off, or because he actually have a weapon, and I could be the one to get shot. And so I said to them, is like, so you gonna watch me get strangled to death? Right? You rather watch me expire than us deal with this. And so, then I had another one,
Self-preservation.
right. And then
People are
They'll,
it's the knack. They're gonna
report it,
preserve
though.
themselves
They'll sit there and report it though.
right. They'll
and
record
record
right?
it and sell the tape to TMZ.
Right.
Okay.
And so then I had another person, he put up a picture of his family, right? Him, his wife, and his kids. And he said that on this picture he titled it, "These are the only people I sacrifice for." And I said, that's a great picture, beautiful picture.
Wow.
But check this out. You titling that, but your ancestors sacrificed, and they're not part of your direct, family that you posting, but they sacrificed so you could be able to post this, so you could have the freedom, right? So they
That's
sacrificed
like
their
the
stuff,
first black man who went to vote. He got shot.
right? And so my thing is this.
It's
My
a
thing is this.
sacrifice.
Right. My thing is this. I feel this way. I feel like, for one, you have to protect the women, because I believe that the women are the portable of life. If we don't protect the women, right, they are the portable of life, then life stops. Right. So you have to protect the women. Right. And if you have that type of mindset, then you won't protect the women. So you'll watch a woman go through this and expire. That's weak to me.
Right,
And then
because he's scared to get shot.
right. And then on the flip side of that, to me, is that I feel like it's a spit in the face, and it's a sin to the ancestors to say that you won't sacrifice yourself or your situation because it's selfishness, right? But we watch Malcolm X in front of his wife, in front of his daughters, sacrifice his life, literally.
Right. Yep.
Right? Martin Luther King changed his stance and then said, listen, I think I led my people into a burning building. I think I was wrong.
Yeah.
And he was assassinated. And then we know he didn't even die right there. He was smothered in the hospital. So this lets us know that they don't want to be any black figures, right? So how dare you post and feel like you won't sacrifice nothing outside of your wife and your kids? So I told him, I said, listen, that's funny, right? Because I have daughters and I have sons, right? But still, if I saw your son or your daughters in an oppressed situation or in a position to lose their life, I'm going to sacrifice myself for them. But in the flip side of that, you'll watch minds go by the wayside. That's a horrible mindset. Just as women, how do y'all feel when you see men speaking that way or feeling that way or mindset that way? Because it comes off as weak to me, but I'm a man. right? But as a woman, how do you view them? Because as a woman, not saying that you guys can't protect yourself, but I feel like that's our job.
Can I say this? I want to say this before I get booted off again. Y'all forgive me. It's about to storm over here and the weather's going crazy. I'm losing Wi-Fi. But I want to say this. When I see a man like that, Blue, when I think of a man like that, I just automatically what comes into me is fear. He's fearful. He's only strong and he's only confident in what he has created and what he can protect. His wife, his family, his children, but anything outside of it's fear because he doesn't know what he will do. I don't like that. I'm gonna just tell you pretty point blank. If I'm a friend, I'm a friend. If it's for listen, if I see somebody else's child on the street that's not doing right or being harmed, I'm going to step in. I'm not going to say, well, that's not my child or my son no better. It don't work like that with me. And unfortunately, 2020 has actually given us perfect vision. It has given us vision.
It's 2020. It gave you 2020.
You understand what I'm saying?
Into a lot of situations.
And the thing about it is, what we have to do is accept and acknowledge what we see. What we see. I'm sorry, it's gonna come from the best of us. It's gonna come from the closest ones to us. I didn't know you thought like that. I didn't know you felt like that. 2020 is giving us a clear vision and a clear view of who is who and what is what and who we're gonna align ourselves with now. Period, point blank. Like you say, Blue, period, point blank. Yeah. It is what it is.
It amazes me. I can look on social media. I can see Sarah on the front line in the middle of everything. And I can see her also posting her mom out there. But then I watch grown, healthy men afraid. It's like it disgusts me to my core. Like
my mom out there today, right now.
Yeah, you can't be serious. To me, it's like,
and then they wonder, and then they wonder why women are so strong, and why we're so called out of our place and not so feminine. We have to be, because the men are not taking a stand. Listen to me. I'm a strong woman. I'm an independent woman. I raised 3 sons to be young men. I did that. But I do want to be protected. I do want to be covered. I do want to feel that. All I ask is that if you're a man and you say you're a man, you got an ounce of morality in you, stand up for something. If it's not for your fellow brother, stand up for the fellow woman. Stand up for your fellow sister. Something. We need that strength. We really do. I'm speaking from a strong one. I'm a strong woman. Y'all guys don't know what I have accomplished. Y'all don't know what generational curses I had to break off of. Y'all don't know how I had to go through the dark night of the soul and the shadows of death and fear and evil. I had to walk that walk to help other people, but I'm a woman. I need that counterpart, that strength. I just need my brothers just to stand up. I don't care if you just stand up for being a better man for your family. It don't have to be the national cause. You understand what I'm saying? It don't have to be for George Floyd. It don't have to be for this national pandemic. Stand up for what's right. You know what? I'm gonna get up today and I'm gonna do what's right. I'm gonna get up today. I'm gonna get a job. You have to do something. Just show that you have that part of you that's a man. That says that's a man that's distinctive from everybody else. That's all I say.
Yeah, I just feel like just stand on your square, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right.
Like you should be. I feel like we should be embarrassed that we look at all these protesters, and I'm looking at all these women, and I'm like, man, I said this the other day. I said, we know these fighters risk their life for our entertainment, and yes, they get paid handsomely and they get revenue behind it, but they risk their life for it. So I feel like if you did it for them, risk your life for our existence. How about risking your life now for our existence? You're a natural fighter. This is what you do.
Right.
You're on the line for revenue. You put your life on the line for entertainment. Now we need you to put your life on the line. Be on the front line for our existence. Because
right. But you gotta understand, a lot of it could be politically based too. You know, there's politics and everything, and
that's what I'm saying.
And that's really what a lot of it is coming from. It's a political standpoint.
Right.
Me personally, I can't deal with any man that's not an alpha. I only deal with alpha men.
Same.
Because I'm an alpha female. So,
right.
you know, when you're an alpha, you will walk all over anything that's not an alpha, and that's not
It
even
won't
fair.
work.
So,
It won't
I'm
work.
an alpha, and I deal with alpha men. I've raised an alpha man. That's
Right,
what it is.
right,
And
right.
that's the
So
thing.
for
The thing that
me,
did
that
me.
type of man that you gave an excuse to couldn't even come and sit and have a dinner or a glass of water at
Well,
my
let me
house.
tell you something about an alpha man. An alpha man won't need no excuses. He walks in his
Right,
authority. He know who he is.
right,
It's the problem
And,
with
right.
these. And I hate to even use the word alphas and non-alphas, but these men that just need
Right.
that strong push, that need to stand up. That's all we ask for. Like you said, Blue. If
Hmm.
you can get in that ring and fight and do that, stand up. Stand up on outside where it really counts, where it really matters. That's all. We
facts.
you know,
And I feel like
that's
a lot of that
it.
is political, you know?
It
Yeah,
really is.
and that's
But
my
guess what?
thing.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, yes, 99.9% is political. It's about gain. It's about notoriety. It's about
Hmm.
influence. But at the end of the
Yeah,
day, we still have morality. We still
Right,
have our moral
right.
compass.
right.
So, like
Hmm.
I said, I'm taking 2020. We could sit here and have a panel. We could preach all day about it. But I'm taking 2020 and I'm actually using it for perfect vision. I want to see
Right,
who you are. I want to see what you're
right.
made of, so
Hmm.
I can act accordingly. That's all.
And it's to me, it's like, man, you know,
Right,
I look at the situation. I'm like, hey, man, this is the situation. This is the opportunity where Muhammad Ali would absolutely thrive, and he's called the great
right.
because of that, right? And it's like, yeah, all y'all, man. I mean, they yesterday. I mean, we get Paulie Malignaggi, and I'm like, I'm so disgusted. How could you say this for racism? How could you say it's a figment of our imagination?
Wait,
Like,
who said that?
yeah, this is what he said.
Paulie Malignaggi said racism isn't real.
He went as far as to I had text messages with him. A couple of other brothers had text. He like, yo, it's a figment of our imagination.
He's out
Right?
of control. He's
Uh,
out
uh,
of
Wow.
control.
If that's the statement, that's
Hey,
a personal living in a delusional mindset. Period. Point blank.
I'm white and I'm offended.
You
Right.
understand?
I'm white and I'm offended.
he went in-
I will write a letter to
That's
show.
that's that delusion I was talking about
But
earlier.
you know what? But you got to understand something. When a person is
Delusional.
not directly affected by none of what we're being
Yeah.
affected by,
So
it
here-
doesn't seem real to them.
Okay, so I was
Right,
having,
yeah.
I was having this discussion yesterday. There was a book about maybe 60 years ago now called Black Like Me. And it was about a white man. Did you hear about it? You know,
Uh-huh.
okay,
Mhm.
maybe the people watching haven't heard about this. It's a book
Right,
called
right.
Black Like Me. And they turned it into a movie, I believe. But this white man disguises himself as a black man. He goes down south
Mhm.
for a period of time to, notate his experience as a
Mhm.
black man.
Mhm.
And he
Right.
then writes this book and reports it to white people like this is really going on.
Mhm.
So I feel like people like him, we need to put him in blackface damn near.
Right.
Walk around for a month and then come
And
back
see
and talk,
how it is.
okay?
Mhm.
Because I don't care.
Right.
It could
And
be
see how the experience is.
right. It could be little things like when you're walking. Lou, how many times have you walked down the street and somebody crossed the street because you walking their way?
That's a
Mhm.
How
fact.
many times has somebody gotten off the
Mhm.
elevator when you got on?
That's a
Mhm.
fact.
You know what I'm saying? Little things. Little
Mhm.
those little things, I can only imagine how much they hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I can
And-
only imagine people won't even speak to you.
Right.
Mhm.
And I told Paulie, I said, Paulie, you grew up in Bensonhurst. The movie Jungle Fever is based off of the atmosphere in Bensonhurst. There's no way you can act like this don't exist. And then on the flip side of that, when you fought Zab Judah, right? That was like white Brooklyn versus black Brooklyn.
100%.
Exactly.
What are we talking about? How could you say there is no? It's a figment of my. He told me it's a figment of my imagination. I said, Paulie, I'm so disappointed in you, bro. I'm so disappointed in you, right? And to say,
Yeah.
and then he goes on to argue with other people, and then he goes on to do an interview in the UK, and I'm like, did you not think that this interview was going to go everywhere? And he says that, he addressed Devin Haney. He says, well, Devin Haney, I disagree with him. and not because of his stance, but because the black boxers era is over. The Eastern European boxers reign in this sport. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, he's smoking.
I'm like, Paulie, what are you talking about? So how dare you sit there if you don't think that racism exists?
He's canceled. He's
Right.
canceled.
Paulie,
Canceled.
How could you say?
That's crazy. Wow.
He's canceled.
That is really something else. You're really
Just-
letting
No,
it
I'm
in here.
really down. I'm really down to start a petition and to Showtime. I'm really down for that. I
Wait a
want it off
minute.
my television.
Sarah,
want it off my television.
I reached out to Steven Espinoza, right?
I
And
want him gone.
he knew where I was going with this, right? So he said that he was going to do it. He was going to come on the show. Then he hit me back. He goes, "Hey, I'm really busy. Just email my PR, and then we'll see where we take it from there." And I'm, Steven, you know, because he knew where I was going with this, and it's, right, and it's like this all started because Paulie was upset that Deontay Wilder didn't want him to commentate the fight, and so he said, "Oh, he's acting like it's racism and so on and so forth." And I'm like, I was disgusted with people like Deontay Wilder hit me up on a week ago when I was on the stream because he can't understand. He's like, bro. He told me this is exactly what he said. He said, "Bro, I wore that suit. I did everything I did because it was Black History Month and representing us." And yet he said, it's expected coming from people that don't look like me. But when it's people that look like me, that hurts me. So he's like, yo, he's pissed because of that. You know?
Blue, I want to say something, Blue. I want to say something. I've known Paulie, not personally, but I've known Paulie. I met Paulie years ago because I got my start out in the Hammerstein ballroom with Lou DiBella and all them. So I got my start with all them guys. Let me tell you something. Paulie's been around Black people. He know Black people. I'm not going to attack Paulie because I don't need no backlash. Paulie, I love you. But at the end of the day, what I know for a fact is when a person speaks like that in a delusional sense, it's not because they don't know and they're not aware. When you are aware of something, you now become responsible.
Yeah, he can get all my backlash. I'll take yours and I'll give it to him. I don't give a damn. I don't.
Because at the end of the day, when you know, and you are responsible. And a lot of motherfuckers don't want to be responsible. I gotta say it like that. They don't want to be responsible. Paulie know what he said is crazy. It's delusional. It's ignorant. And he said it to a Black man.
He's aware.
I'm offended. At the end of the day, you know what? You don't get no pass, Paulie. I'm gonna say you don't get no pass. You know what's going on. You're not keeping it real because now, if you keep it real, you have a responsibility to hold up to the words and how you feel, and you don't want to do that. So you're gonna
on blast. Blue, you gonna send me that? I'm putting him on blast.
Listen, it is what it is. Paulie, you wrong for that. Paulie, you wrong for that. You wrong for that.
I love white people.
Nobody's gonna condone. Nobody's going to erase that what we are dealing with is real. You are living in a delusional world. So if you don't want to take responsibility for it, don't say nothing at all.
He's not delusional.
Act like you don't. And that's my point.
Yeah, he knows.
They pull that delusional, crazy narrative like it don't exist because once you acknowledge something, it's real. And you are now responsible.
You have to do something about it. Right. Now you're responsible for the outcome and you have to do something about it.
That's all I'm saying. Paulie, do better. Paulie, do better. Paulie, the Black people supported you your whole entire career. Do better. I was rooting on you when you were getting your box braids cut out in between rounds. Fighting. Do better, my guy. Do better. Do better, Paulie.
But someone that soaked up the culture as much as he did, he even fought Black.
You understand?
Right? Like if there's such a thing.
He came into the ring with box braids, calling them dreads, and couldn't fight with him. So they was cutting them out in between rounds. My guy, we love you, but do better. If you're not going to do better, don't say nothing at all and move yourself out the way. It ain't your fight if you can't fight it.
Yeah, he went on to say that, we are being delusional because white people get killed on the same rate as white people by the cops.
I had that conversation yesterday, and I said this one white girl told me that white people get killed more than by the cops more than Blacks. I said, well, Blacks being only 30%
I read that somewhere.
of the population, I should fucking hope so.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbers are close. I think whites is something like 300 and something a year, and Blacks is like 2 something. That and I looked at the statistics, and I think it said for every white person that's murdered by cops, 5 blacks were murdered by cops.
Mm-hmm.
5
Right, because you
times
got to look
higher
at the
rate than
statistics
white.
and what
Mm-hmm.
black
I
people
don't
make
care.
up, what
I
the
don't care.
percentage
I
of
don't care what
what
the
we make up.
statistic is about how many white people are getting killed. They're not being exploited. They're not
Exactly.
being exploited.
Right.
The subject is these black men are brutally being killed in the street, worse than animals.
And
So what are we going to do about it?
let's talk about the ones that aren't just killed, but the ones that are beaten to a fucking pulp,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
or
Exactly.
falsely
And have lifetime
incarcerated.
injuries. What happened to Abner Louima?
Falsely
Lifetime
Okay.
injuries.
incarceration.
Lifetime
You know what I
injuries.
mean? The percentage of blacks in prison, that's legal slavery.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Like, let's talk about the false incarcerations, the guys, the Central Park 5.
Okay.
I want my years back. Fuck that money. Give me my
Okay.
life. Okay?
Right.
You can't give me the
Right.
mental anguish, all that, the PSTD, the physical, all of that. It's a suffering. It's a
There's no
suffering.
amount of money. There's no amount of money you could give me for 30 years of my life. There's no
Me
amount.
either.
I want my fucking life back. You took these men's life from them. They can't have, like, they probably never have children.
It's
You know,
over.
like,
It's over.
you locked them up when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they
Yeah.
probably, like,
So the lineage is done
sure
right
they
there.
have relationships now, but imagine the years you took from them. You took their life from them for something that they did not do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I had a question for my sons. I just said, why are we having a debate, a discussion, a breakdown, and an analyst over a life that was taken, that was lost? Why are we breaking down the detail? Lives are constantly being taken. Black men
Right.
are being killed. Let's just say that. Forget who he was prior, what happened. Forget the details of the people that caused the murder or the crime. We are talking about life and death. You can't get that back. Once a person is gone, they are gone. So at the end of the day, let's focus on that. And it pains me that the focus and the breakdown is because of a black man. If it was a white man, we wouldn't be having this. We wouldn't have a movement. Why is the black man not being considered a whole human being? That is my question.
That's from day one. 3
From day
Right.
one.
Like,
And it's
I told
from
you,
day
in
one.
their humanity, they're taking it away.
Why is it a black woman like me? I have to instill and impart in my sons that they are black men. Why is it that them being born as black men, the male species, enough? This world is crazy. And I go against anybody that have a problem with murder. Murder is murder. And guess what? Our black men are the poster for murder.
Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all something. Does it seem odd to you that cop sat on his neck for 8 minutes and what was it, 46 seconds?
42, 8 minutes.
42
40.
seconds
Yeah.
with being filmed, right? Knowing people are filming him and being just, that cavalier.
He posed.
So
He was reveling in that. He was reveling in that moment.
Either there's something, either he's that dumb, that comfortable, or it's something bigger, right? You got these
It's
cops
really just that
breaking
comfortable.
into jewelry stores.
He had a long sheet too.
Okay,
The things that he was
the
doing
cops
during his
breaking
career.
into
So he was
jewelry
just
stores in the
comfortable with
Bronx,
what he was
opening
doing.
it up with a metal cutter on video. You got cops placing bricks, right? Either they're that stupid,
no,
comfortable with being recorded, or there's something bigger going on.
See, Blue, we're gonna have to have another conversation because it's real.
I want to touch on that too because I got some information that they opened up. Floyd didn't have a relationship with his family as they portraying, and his brother opened up a whole separate GoFundMe and his own side that garnered over 500,000. But the first GoFundMe got 10 million, and that's not what Floyd sent them. That's not even including what Floyd Mayweather sent them, right?
Wow.
Right. So who are the two GoFundMe's for? What was the first one for?
The first one was originally
or
for just him, right? It was just his family. That was the real one. Then it's brought to his brother, who didn't have a close relationship with, open up another GoFundMe that obviously we don't, not paying attention. We're just gonna send money to the GoFundMe, and then that don't even include Floyd Mayweather sent, to pay for all the services. So it's like, it's a lot
and Kanye West.
Right.
Kanye West.
It's starting to be a lot.
Gave over $2 million supposedly, from what I read,
for his daughter's college fund.
So what you thinking, Blue? It's a lot of capital
for his daughter's college fund,
capitalizing on this situation.
Right, like Sarah was saying that they placing all of these rioting, all this looting. You're not seeing too many people that look like us doing this.
Not at all.
No,
right?
no.
Not at all.
And then the thing
rewind and slow it down.
But guess what?
And the thing that gets me too, this is another thing that gets me, is that it's being planned. Like they're letting you know, hey, this mall is gonna be, and tomorrow we're gonna do this. Like, who does that? Like, why would we?
Right.
Yeah, complete anarchy.
Yeah, tomorrow at 2 p.m. we're gonna raid. Like, what? I don't understand that. First of all, a lot of people that's just moving off of pure energy and adrenaline are not thinking to schedule anything tomorrow.
Right.
Right. We're just gonna go do it. We're not planning.
Right.
Let's go find the nearest Gucci store and go. No, who's planning to do that? No, if it happens to be available at the moment that your energy is running high and your adrenaline is running high, then you'll do it, right? But to plan it, and like Sarah said, there's being brick, and we're seeing now videos of people placing bricks and people getting caught. Like, why you placing bricks here?
Cocktails, all types of stuff.
So and either they're cops or they're people dressed as cops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They know they're being recorded.
Let me say something. Someone sent me a fighter sent me a DM, and it was just a clip. It was a protester at a protest rally talking about how he was paid. He's a paid protester. He's a paid antagonist.
I saw that too.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
you know what?
This is war.
Conversation's about to go down a whole rabbit hole that I
yeah.
You know,
we can talk all day about this.
You know what? Yeah. We could talk about it. We could talk discreetly about it, but we also can let people know that we know what's going on.
Right.
There's a whole narrative there.
Everything to face value.
There's a few different agendas there.
And another thing is, where's the other people that was in the car with him?
Right.
Why are they not
talking anything from them?
Right. We're the witnesses.
Maybe they don't want
to. George Floyd. I saw him on TV this morning.
Oh, they was on TV this morning?
Yeah, I saw him this morning on TV.
That was like the first time. It's been 10 days. Where are they?
Right.
The whole 10 days.
They said that he was complying. They said he really did nothing wrong. Like he was totally compliant. So
it's just wild. It's like now I turn on the news, I don't even hear nothing about the virus
at all.
Right.
They said today, I saw today about the virus. New York hasn't had a coronavirus since 3 weeks now. This is the first confirmed non-coronavirus in 3 weeks.
I saw a number of 19,000 new infections.
See, I don't
heard that, and I don't. Who knows if these numbers are factual? Who knows? They could just be feeding us more bullshit.
Yeah,
what I do know is that people are, when this whole thing was going on, people were definitely dying in the droves. I my own eyes.
Yeah, you know what? Too, this coronavirus, that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But all I say is, talking to my older sons, and in this apartment, I frequently have anywhere between 15 and 20 since the coronavirus has started, in and out of here, recording, having a good time. None of us got the coronavirus. None of us got sick. But I will say this: in December, I was really, really, really sick for about 6 days. I suffer from something that's called reactive airway. I was born with bronchitis, so my lungs are very sensitive, and it's triggered by allergens and all that. And I'm gonna say this publicly: the only thing that has kept my inflammation down and that has kept me off of prednisone and albuterol is marijuana. And I said to my sons, I said, now this whole time we've been sitting around talking, have y'all known anyone to collectively actually have the coronavirus? Now, Blue, you said you had it. How did it make you feel? What did you feel? Because in December, I had really bad like flu-like symptoms. I was lethargic. I had no appetite. It was like I had no life. So how did you feel?
Let me tell you, I remember vividly, right? I went to this, and I had was getting ready to eat icy, right? And I'm like, damn, I don't feel well. Like right before, I was getting ready to watch TV and eat it. And I'm like, man, don't feel well, right? So I ate the icy. I ain't really paying no attention. And this was at the beginning of them talking about, because this was in March, right? And then I didn't really pay no attention. Then I went to the store. I went to Target, and I'm like, man, I don't feel good. So I came home, right? I'm like, then I walked it off. Next day, my wife said, let's go to BJ's. We went to BJ's, and while I'm in the parking lot with her, I'm like, man, I completely feel like now I feel like I'm getting a fever and don't feel well. So I'm like, yo, you know what? I think I'm gonna go home, right? So I go back to the house, and I'm at home. Now I'm like, man, my face felt congested, right? Like, all right, whatever, man. I worked in the hospital. I worked in the operating rooms. I did this for 17 years. So I'm like, let me take some Advil, right? Took a couple of Advil, drink some tea. I woke up the next day. I'm not making this up. I woke up the next day completely sick. Like it was like a 2-day building process of little weary symptoms, nothing to say like, oh man, and then I woke up like, when I say blowing my nose, like I was blowing my nose every 2 minutes, like, and it was like legit, like snot. Like I'm like, what the? Like I couldn't stop. Like it was every 2 minutes. I was running through. I just was carrying around toilet paper. I was literally carrying around toilet paper. Then it went from that to the snot turned into blood. Like I just started blowing out blood.
Wow.
Blowing out blood. And I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, listen, let me just separate myself from everybody else completely. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get my kids sick or nobody else sick. Let me just separate myself. Then I got one of the boxers sent me a text, like it came from the basketball player Rudy Gobert. He sent me a text from that and said, yo, because I was telling him about my symptoms. So he was like, yo, could you smell and taste? And I didn't, because I was so concerned with my my nasal patch and everything. I didn't really test, I didn't think about it, because I'm like, when you got a cold, you can't taste nothing anyway.
Right.
You can't really smell nothing. So
that's normal.
Yeah.
Right.
So I took a shower, came out the shower, and I always put on cologne when I come out the shower. I put on my cologne. I'm like, damn, I can't. So I'm smelling myself. So I'm like, man, this cologne. And that fast, I forgot what he even said. So I'm like, man, this cologne is gone already? So now I put that down, smell another cologne. So I'm like, hold on, now I can't smell the cologne. So now, I instantly went back to that text. So now I went to panic mode. Now I'm trying to smell Clorox. I'm trying to smell anything. I'm like, I completely nothing. So I'm like, shit. Now I don't eat potato chips and stuff like that, right? So I'm like, let me, you know what I mean? I don't want to eat nothing bland, because I was just eating soup anyway. So now I'm trying to eat Doritos. Can't taste it. I ate an oatmeal pie. I'm like, what the hell? I can't taste it. Like completely. I could just feel the texture in my mouth, but I can't taste nothing. Like complete. It's like I'm just chewing on cardboard. Like I'm like I can feel something in my mouth, but I can't taste it. So now I'm like, now I go in panic mode. I'm like, yo, anybody else feeling sensing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I turn on the news and it's like, the senses can't smell, can't taste. And it went from there, it was like downhill. My head, instantly I got a headache just for like, I had a headache for like 3 weeks, like a migraine. Like I was sleeping,
Crazy.
I had to sleep off of the bed with my face down to pointed to the floor. So the pressure
To keep the pressure. Wow.
if I sat like this, the pressure was like my head was like it's going to explode. I'm like, man, I just continuously sleep like that.
They gave you medications to take for that specific medication?
No, what I did was I brought up my own concoctions. You know what I mean? I started taking. I put it on YouTube too. What worked, and I was giving it because my daughter ran a fever. She got a fever of like 100. It got to like 103. I gave her this.
Had it too?
Yeah, I gave her the concoction. I mixed cayenne pepper, ginger, apple cider vinegar, a couple of other things. I mix it with a whole lime because lime is more alkaline than lemon. So I mixed the whole lime in there and put that in and just drink. It burned, but it just completely. And I was doing that twice a day. I gave it to her.
Right, alleviated your symptoms.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I continued to do it. It worked for me, so I'm like, yo, this is working. And then they was telling people don't take Advil. So I'm like, I was calling some of Danique knows, but I was calling some of the surgeons at the hospital, and I'm like, yo, should I not take Advil? Should I what? And they like, yeah, just take Tylenol. So I'm taking Tylenol. I'm like, yo, this Tylenol is doing absolutely nothing. Like, it's not even relieving the mind, you know what I'm saying, not giving me no type of comfort. So I'm like, I'm taking Advil. I was taking Advil liquid gels, 3 of them every 4 or 5 hours, just popping them. But then my kidneys started hurting. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But it was either live with the symptoms or destroy something else. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, so I just started, I'm like, man, let me drink my tea. And I still drink my tea right now. Like, while I'm talking to y'all, I got my tea. I drink it 3 times a day, like a meal. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the only thing that relieved me. And then finally, a crazy thing about it was, I'm like, man, I need to go outside to get air because I was just staying in the house. And I go outside and come back in. That was the worst thing you could do. Is like the outside air would make it worse. You know what I mean? Like
that's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Yeah. The next day I couldn't even move after going outside. So I just was sitting.
Did you get the antibody test?
Yeah, I took the test.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And do you have antibodies?
Nah, I'm good.
They really put it in your nose like that?
Yeah, I did.
Blue, they stuck it in your nose all the way like that? What did it feel like?
Pain.
Well, it came out positive, right? It was a positive test. So so if you had a positive test,
but I'm talking about what about the antibodies?
No, I just took the test and just got the.
Yeah, he'd have the antibodies with the test, and it was positive. He'd have antibodies.
Right.
No, not necessarily. People were coming up negative for the antibodies, and they were positive for the coronavirus.
Oh, I thought if you had
crazy, and I never even
antibodies.
No, it's crazy. It's coming up completely skewed because some people we know 100% had the coronavirus, and then they have 0 antibodies. Now I have high antibodies, and I never even had the coronavirus.
Oh, so you have antibodies?
Wow.
So
I have antibodies. I have a high antibody
because I took the antibody test and that came up negative, but the antibodies means that you came in contact with it at some point. Doesn't mean that you contracted it, but you came in contact with it.
The antibodies
off before it actually
means that you had the coronavirus. At some point, you had the coronavirus.
Like you
and your number tells you how much antibodies you have.
Yeah.
So will the antibodies give you symptoms? Will the antibodies give you symptoms?
it's basically the
Right.
antibodies is what will fight it off. So you're
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
like, so if you came in contact with it at some point and you fought it off, you would have the antibody. Like the antibody
Oh.
Right. So like how
Okay,
they're saying in
that
the
makes
hospital
sense.
is if you had the coronavirus, you should have the antibodies. But
Right.
now the studies are coming up that everybody who had the coronavirus doesn't
Don't have
necessarily
it.
have
Okay.
the antibodies. But that
Okay.
could just mean that your body, you could have had the coronavirus, but your body just took it all out.
For
But
the
you didn't retain any.
right.
Right. Your body took it
Got
all
it.
out and you didn't
Got
retain
it.
any. So that when it comes back in September, you would have some if you still have antibodies.
I'm going
So,
into
like,
high.
I never even, I
She
wasn't
said
even,
September.
I was around it
Oh.
every day.
Yeah, because they saying
Working
now.
in the hospital, I was around it every day. But,
Okay, so
I can't pinpoint
what
exactly
happened to
when
the
I had it.
flu? What happened to the flu? What happened to the flu?
It's coupled
Are we-
into it.
So we're going to
Yeah.
expect the
It's
flu
like a
and
different
the,
strain of the flu.
so
Right.
can we
Right.
expect the
Which is
corona
where they're
and
saying
the
September is
flu?
going to even be more dangerous.
It's
I
crazy.
can't.
I'm telling
I
people,
can't.
It's crazy.
I'm telling people like
How they're having us prepare in the hospital is crazy. It's
I'm
like, so
telling
you're
people
telling me
they
in
continue
September
to
we got
they
the flu, and all.
I'm telling people
Go
they
ahead.
opening stuff up, man, but don't let all of these distractions fool you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
Like as soon as it get cold again, we gonna be
Right.
in the
It's coming
same
right back.
or double. It could be
Yeah.
worse.
It's going to
Yeah.
be worse, I believe. It's going
Right.
to be worse.
And that's why they're saying they don't know what they're going to do with the kids. They don't know if they're going to go back full time. They don't know if they're going to have half of them go half days.
They're
and
going to
half
try
the
to
other
force
half
us to
days.
get
It's just crazy.
vaccinations.
That's
Right.
what they're going to do.
They're
That's
going to
Right.
force us to get vaccinations.
Y'all, it's a new world. It's a new world.
You can't work.
NWO, New World Order.
It's a new world. It's a new world. I told. Go ahead, Blue.
Did y'all watch that movie Pandemic?
I didn't watch it. My son's been trying to get me to watch. I didn't watch it. Should I watch it? If it was worth watching?
Because it's so to a T. It's amazing that this movie came out when it came out, and it's so to a T to what's going on today's time. It's like
Right.
to me, like it's like you can't the human our imagination is not that strong to be able to predict everything that's taking place right now. Like
Right.
they was talking about there's people on there, hey, you got the antibody or you got this, you got just what we talking about. And I'm like, huh? And this was a movie that was funded. This is why Bill Gates got so much flack, because later, baby, this is a movie that was funded by him in today's time. And seeing that movie, they was pushing the antibody on one person, right? So you could only have one person. So, and then you had to put a wristband on to show that you had it, right?
Yeah.
And it's
They're
so
trying to do with that app. They're like,
right.
oh yeah.
And it's so up to date, and it's like, dude,
It's
this
crazy.
for,
But that's what
I
they're
believe
doing
it's
in China. That's what they're doing
I
in
believe
China
it's
right
something
now.
called pre-programming. That's all it is. Pre-programming. Everybody want to talk about how the Simpsons is predicting. This is called
Predicting
pre-programming.
everything.
exactly.
Let me
Yeah,
tell you
they
something.
run it by you. They run it by you to get a little
It's impossible.
reaction, or just put it in your head.
While I'm watching it, right? And there's no, because this is a Netflix movie, so Netflix movies don't really have no real ending, so there's no into it. But it's like I'm watching it. As I'm watching, I'm like, there's no way. Everything that they talking about on the news today, they're talking about in this movie. Hey, you gotta make sure you clean the bottom of your shoes because it could be out on your shoes. And I'm like, how is that
It's
possible?
airborne. It's
But wait.
and all
But
that stuff.
the latest they're saying it now is, now we all know if I'm gonna just say this, they're saying now that the money, the dollar bills can trace the coronavirus. So this is the reason why the dollar bill needs to be out of circulation. We see where this is going.
Right.
Right.
We're in the beginning stages of the end. Call it what you want. The revelations, the tribulations, the end time. This is the beginning of the end. We are not going back to how it used to be. So if we can grasp that, we can get a better understanding.
Nothing that happens in this country is by chance. Nothing.
It's not.
Nothing.
It's not.
Okay, I'm gonna put y'all on to something. I just went in my room and got this, but this I don't know if you've read this, Blue, but you read this book before?
Oh yeah, behold the pale.
Oh God.
This.
Okay, audience,
Okay.
read this book. It talks about New World Order, about
Mhm.
cults, about UFOs, Area 51, and this is written by an insider, and it backs everything up with real documentation. Real documentation. It even talks about like the U.S. government in cahoots with satanic churches. Like that's how deep this shit goes. What we
I
see,
believe it.
Crazy.
what we see is not what we get. Okay,
That's
this
right.
shit
That's
is
right.
so deep. This shit, the Illuminati, all that shit is real. Like we talk about it, we joke about it, but that shit is fucking real. Okay, excuse my language, but
So, what's the best way to tell the truth in a joke?
right. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
What they
oh
say.
yeah, you want to screenshot it. Beware the Pale Horse.
Uh-huh.
That's a serious book. That's a serious book right there. You got to be ready for that.
This is a real book.
Yeah, I saw the clip notes
And
on that.
man, I'm telling you, it's
I love it. I love it.
the secret government, man, Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1988. Like it goes into HIV, all that shit. Like
Oh,
nothing in this is by chance, man. I'm telling you, nothing in this country is by chance.
what they say, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
That's
Right.
right.
Yep.
Right.
That's right.
And so they tell us this and they show us this. I don't know if y'all listen to Amina. She's from Brooklyn. My brother Ty King a lot in the chat. That's his wife, and she is actually the one that informs me a lot of stuff. She informed me about the whole situation with the George Floyd's, you know, the different accounts, and she breaks down. She put up these videos and these clips, and she shows these pictures of Jennifer Lopez, and she told me to to open it, make the picture bigger, to zoom it in, and man, when I zoomed it in, you could see in the back in the mirror, and this is an actual picture. People think that she's showing you this stuff like it's a Photoshop. It's not Photoshop. This is on Jennifer Lopez's actual page. Go to this picture that she's working out, and you zoom into the picture, right? You can see there's a black guy in the back in the mirror with somebody's hand over his mouth. Literally.
What?
Yeah, you go to Jennifer Lopez's picture, go to her Instagram, and zoom in on the picture. It's a picture. I'll show you the picture. It's a picture of her working out, and if you zoom into the picture, she's taking a picture in the mirror, so you can see the reflection in her mirror, so you can see the room behind her, right? And in the room behind her, you can, if you zoom in the mirror, you can see there's a picture of somebody like with their hand over somebody's mouth. So I'm like, a lot of people.
What that mean? What? That's crazy.
Yeah, look, it's just different. Things that. So y'all see this picture, right? Now this is her legit page.
Wow.
See the blue check mark, right? So you go to her page, right? So it's this picture. You see this picture of her working out, right there, right? Now look, if I zoom in,
Wait, where's my phone?
You see that picture in the back?
Oh shit, I see it. Yeah.
Look at the guy in the back in the mirror. This is her page. No, this is not photoshopped or none of that. You see the guy in the back, right?
That's
there.
Rocky.
Over her shoulder.
So what is that supposed to mean?
That's weird.
It's saying
What's
that,
going on in the world?
And so you see this picture she put, and she looked rough and rugged, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she don't look like this is the same picture she's putting up. The same time. She's like two different people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going with this, Blue.
So it's like they're quieting, the people, right? In plain sight. They putting stuff in plain sight, and
yeah.
there's this. I could get deep on this stuff, man, but there's this.
I know, it's like a whole rabbit hole, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
Don't get your page shut down, Blue.
It's a whole
Getting
lot.
deep with this.
You know they watch me.
I told you,
But,
gotta be very diplomatic.
yeah, I want this.
Right?
There's a lot of stuff. But that book that Sarah just pulled out, my father
Yeah.
showed me all of these things from when I was little. You know what I mean? He brought
Yeah.
he had me watching Ancient Aliens since I could remember. He's been into this, so it's a lot of stuff. When she brought out that book, man, my father brought that book to me years ago when I was a teenager. And he like, yo, you got to read this. I'm trying to be a teenager. He like, nah, you got to read it. So it's things I read and watched, and it's so deep. And that's why I always tell people, everybody here, they know I always say, believe stuff for what it is and not what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Or believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
And half of what you see. Yeah.
Exactly.
Amen to that.
Right. So you know what I'm saying?
Amen to that.
And so that's the thing, man. They play a lot of tricks on us, So it's just like you said with the virus, all this protesting going on, social distancing went right out the window, huh?
Right out the window.
Right.
I'm waiting to see if there's a jump in the numbers. I'm waiting to see.
But Sarah, that's what happened. They saying today, I was looking at the news today, and they said we ain't have a new case in 3 weeks.
Well, they say it takes like what, 2 weeks or something. Like, so I'm gonna wait a couple weeks. I'm gonna see what happens.
So we should have what? All this started maybe
10
what?
days ago.
Yeah,
Last night was the 9th day. So we got what, 4 or 5 more days.
4 more days, right?
Yeah.
So we should have a jump in the numbers. If there's no jump in the numbers, then something.
Right. Either that or they're gonna try to tell us everybody stay safe out there, huh? It's amazing.
Although I did, like when I was at the protest, everyone had a mask. But guess who didn't have masks?
Mm-hmm.
Guess who didn't have masks?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The cops.
And I'm glad you said that. And Sarah, I'm glad you said that, because I said, how come the cops wasn't as scared, wasn't hesitant to be
I took video of it.
How come?
I said, but y'all out here handing out citations to black people, but you don't have a mask on.
But how come they
It's
wasn't?
a game.
What kind of example are you setting?
Even when they had the contact with George Floyd, he didn't have a mask on. They didn't have a mask.
Nope. Gloves, nothing.
Nobody was worried. Nobody seemed to be worried.
Right.
Yeah.
But a few weeks ago, the police force was down and they was giving people 1-800 numbers to call, and they would say, don't call 911 and don't just be calling for nonsense. Only call for something serious.
Right.
So who knows?
And let me ask you this too, right? You see the white lady came out and said that they actually work together. Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Security.
Yeah.
They knew each other.
I saw that the club owner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What y'all think about that?
I mean, if that's the narrative they giving, if that's the story they giving, you could see it playing out as he was jealous because he was getting a lot of the female attention, but I don't even know. There's so many stories. There's so many reasons. It don't even matter right now.
Yeah, you think about security guards and how many gigs they work. They might have worked together, but they didn't realize that in the moment. You know what I mean? They might have not even recognized each other. You know what I mean?
Right. Why is that even a connection?
Yeah,
Who
cares? Like, who cares?
Well, I guess because they were saying that it could have been premeditated if he knew him already from the club. And then they had an issue in the club.
Yeah, who knows?
But that's true. But at the end of the day, whether it was premeditated or not, a man is dead. At the end of the day, whether it was premeditated or not,
premeditated, then it'd be first degree murder, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that does play a factor.
The charges was jacked up now, right?
They do.
Yeah, to second degree. But if it wasn't they did know each other, that changes a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Changes a whole lot. Valid point.
But I'm gonna let you ladies go, man. We've been here for 2.5 hours almost.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Took a portion of y'all day up.
It was something, Blue. It was a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta do it again, man. They loving it in the chat, you know. And I like to do different things different, man. I don't like to yeah, I can reach out to a lot of the mailboxes and the promoters and things of that nature, but it's great to have y'all on here and get a whole different perspective, and especially y'all raising children in this world, you know, and y'all the nurturers, right? So I think that it's important, you know, to get, you know, y'all's perspective, because when I see women in equal power, that's how I see it. You know, my
Right.
sisters, I got daughters, my mother, you know, and I listen, they don't call me with nothing, no nonsense, because I don't have an in between. You know what I mean? Because I look
I
at,
know that's right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
don't call me unless the relationship gonna end. So
Mhm.
and I told this to Sarah. Sarah noticed, you know. So you know, it's just, I just look at women different. You know, my daughters, I teach my daughters to, I'm their first love. You know, with everything. My daughter right now, 21, she got a boyfriend, and she just the other day, she's telling her boyfriend, "Hey, one of these days, either my birthday or I forgot what day she said, but she's like, you ain't give me. It was Valentine's Day or her birthday. I don't think you gave me my chocolate covered strawberries." And I'm like, yes, I did, because I make sure I got 4 daughters, so I make sure they're 22, 21, 17, and 5.
Wow.
They
Wow.
know,
All
yeah,
across the board.
yeah, and
Wow. That
they
is a
they
lot.
yeah, they all know, you know, like they get the same, they get roses, they get their chocolates, they get just I wake up today and I think and I listen, let me order this and just have it sent to my house, sent to wherever they at, you know. And I was telling a lot of people on Facebook, you know, everybody raised their kids different, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
these particular 2 people I was talking about, I'm like, my daughter's the one that's 21, she's a little scary. You know, my daughter's 22 and my daughter that's 17, she boxes. And you know, they like, you know what? Hey, we going to the parade, we going to the march, we going to this, we going to that. Where we going? Where we at? Right? They done went, and I didn't even know they went. Right?
Hmm.
And they tell me, hey, we was here, we was there. And so I just feel ashamed to that I can look at men that I considered. I can look at my daughter that's 22 and 17 and want to be on the front line. Like, that's
Right.
amazing to me. Like, they can
Right.
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
minds can be so many different places, but every day they're like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, there's a march over here, we going? They tell me there's a march over here, we going? Dad, we going to this, we going to that. We can't let this go. They tell their brothers, yo, we got to be here. You got to do this. And so it's like, you know, and I know, like I said, everybody raised different, but I raised them to be their first love, because I don't want them to have to look for anywhere else, right? And
Right.
so I tell their boyfriends or whoever they deal with, your standards is gonna be high, because I could wake up today and they could get chocolate covered roses, they could get strawberries. It's just cause, right?
Right.
And
And
that's
so
beautiful.
yeah, and so that's what I teach them. So they know, you know, like I said, my daughter 21, she got her boyfriend. And she telling him, hey, yo, you ain't send me I don't think I got my chocolates for one of these days. She don't even remember what day it was. I'm like, yeah, I told her, I
You giving her high standard.
said,
And
yeah.
she
And
keeping you
Right.
on
And that's
point.
where it is. That's what I was saying before. It starts at home. You know,
right,
you show people,
Right.
you know, how
Right.
to treat you. I got to tell the world
Right.
how to treat me, you
Right.
right.
know?
And so
And
I
Right.
when you raise children, you tell your children how to make the world treat them, you know,
facts,
Right.
and the standards that you give them.
right.
Absolutely.
So I just think that, you know, I believe, I don't just talk it, you know, I believe it. You know, y'all see how
Right.
I address you, all of y'all, in the same manner. Peace and blessings to you, right? And
Right.
right,
That's right.
you know,
That's right.
that's always my approach, right? And I believe that, you know, y'all need to be heard, you know. So I want to bring y'all on so the world can hear, you know, your perspective, right? It's good that, you know, we automatically look at the protests, we automatically look at what's going on, and you the first picture you get is a man, right? And it's like the portal is the woman, and I say the womb man, right? Because you the portal of life. So
Right.
it's important for us to hear y'all and hear your mindset and what y'all think, and especially, you know, the three of y'all raising children. That's Black children coming up.
A Black woman put together that march I was at the other day, and it was thousands of people there, and it was led by a Black woman.
Right. So, and so
Sarah, where you are? Where you live, Sarah?
I live in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay, you in New York.
Okay.
So, but I kept y'all long enough. I appreciate y'all coming through.
No problem.
And we appreciate you. Thank you for the invite.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But just let these people know. I want y'all to go and let the people know where they can find you, what you got going on, so on and so forth, right? Because everybody's asking about Sarah's paintings and all Denise.
Sarah _ the artist. I changed my handle a lot, but I'm gonna keep that one for a while, I think. But yes, Serafina _ the artist. And yeah, man, like follow me on IG. I follow back. Ladies, drop yours so I can follow y'all. I want to keep in touch.
Absolutely.
And people get them paintings, man. She do jackets. Go to her page, check out. She do jackets. She do all that, man. I told her before. No, you gonna do you got to do a show, man, because her paintings is dope.
Definitely. Once I can get through all these commissions, man, I can start paying for myself.
I know that's right.
Sure. And Denise, you got the waist train. Tell them about your business and what you got.
Right. So we got hourly shapewear, but we specialize in women's shapewear. You send us our measurements and we send you the shapewear. I also have kitchen conversations with my sister where we sit in our kitchen and we talk about all types of different issues, political issues, a lot of relationship issues that go on between men and women, the battle of the sexes. So that's Kitchen Conversations. And you can find me at Nikki1020 on Instagram.
Absolutely. Her sister's a singer, so we're gonna make something happen too.
Yeah.
Oh
okay.
Yeah. Her son's an artist. See, that's what I'm talking about. Let me know. You getting back in the sport of boxing too, right?
Who, me? Listen, it's been years removed from me interviewing and writing articles, but definitely I want to get back in the sport on a advisory and management level. I definitely have an eye for talent, but my Instagram is ms_Katrina Katrina Denise DENISE. That's Miss_Katrina_Denise. Currently, right now, I'm a full-time psychology major, getting my bachelor's degree in clinical psychology with my emphasis in counseling. Because I talk to a lot of people, and then people always want to talk to me and tell me their problems. But yes, I'm definitely getting back into the sport of boxing. I need a few champions. I want a few champions.
Katrina, hit me up. Hit me up. I'll help you out with that.
Got you. Yeah. I've been so far removed from the sport, but it's about time. It's about time we get in there and make things happen. I'm so Blue. I'm grateful for you because you hit me out of the blue. Seriously, like out of the blue, like, yo, Trina, what's up? And you know what? You remind me of myself from back in the day doing the legwork, but now you in the forefront. You got the platform going. So we about to do big things, and I'm excited. I'm excited about it all. I'm excited.
We're gonna make it happen.
That's right.
Let's be great.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Let's be great. So I appreciate y'all. And everybody's saying bring them back. Yeah, I'm bringing them back.
Hey, that's what's up.
I'd love to come back. And if anybody needs any tips on business, you can also hit me up. I do have a degree in business, so
definitely.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of getting my master's right now, and I have my bachelor's. So
all right,
I push Black entrepreneurship so hard because it's something that's very attainable, and I can show everyone how.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all.
Blue, you done set something up. Blue, you done set something up.
Yeah, for sure. See that? I'm bringing great worlds together. We're gonna be great. Understand?
That's right.
We're gonna be great, man. But y'all, let me get out of here. Appreciate y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV, man. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all we got for y'all. Peace. All right, ladies.
Bye.
Lessons.